Well, good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're coming from, everyone, and welcome back. It's going to be Star Ladder Season 12, and we are back in some European action. Thank you so much, first and foremost, to ODPixel for covering series number 1 there between Moscow5 and LC, but we're going to keep the party going over here at the Beyond the Summit house with myself, KotlGuy, and I got my buddy Purge with me. It's going to be the first time we cast together, my friend. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited we didn't have to wake up at 7:30 like ODPixel did, but he's on a different time zone, so it's all okay for him.
Yeah, wherever he is, I'm sure it's a beautiful time for Dota. For us right now, we're just waking up, rubbing out the eye boogers, and getting ready to do some quality Dota action, so I don't want to delay any further. Let's just go ahead and get into the game, into the action here in our first series. As you can see, we had to quickly transition and take everything over here from ODPixel, but it's going to be Moscow5 taking on Duza Gaming. All right, Purge, I don't know. You said that you've seen a couple of bits of the Star Ladder action the past couple days, but this has been some of the most ridiculous Dota I've ever witnessed. It's been out of control. We've seen level 1 snowballs to cliff. We've seen disconnects all over the place, 3v5s with still Team Secret coming back with only 3 players.
Heard about that.
It's been absolutely out of control. But over here, we're hoping for some of these tier 2, tier 3 teams to kind of go toe-to-toe to see which is the better.
I think what surprised me most about the snowball game, for example, was how fast the snowball goes with 5 heroes. That blew my mind. I was like, they're not going to get that guy. And then he just zipped across the screen and initiated at like a 2,000 range. That was super impressive.
It was ridiculous.
That's like actually really viable for First Blood. It's pretty amazing how good that was.
They just, like, it was clear, it was like, listen, we're going against the big boys here. We got Secret. We're going to have to pull out something different. Yeah. And they just went balls to the wall. They literally went snowballs to the wall with it, went across the seas, and, well, they were bloodthirsty to take down RTZ, and look where things ended up. So, well, enough of that, though. We got this matchup, Moscow5, Duza Gaming. I imagine that with the hat odds and everything, it's got to be down the middle, about a 50-50 odd split between these two. Moscow5, of course, are the later replacements. They came in for the recently dispersed Virtus Pro squad, and their tough task was taking on Team Secret yesterday as their first match. They actually put up an admirable effort. They ended up going... they got 1 win in the 3-game series.
That's really good then.
It was a big comeback game, number 1. They had to get 2 rapiers on their sniper. We talked about how Sniper is as a hero earlier. All he had to get was 2 rapiers, and then he brought the game back to Secret.
And that's why he's banned in the first round here. Just his ability to shut down blink daggers and chase perpetually after heroes who can't close the gap on him is really dangerous. The only way to really counter it is to pick heroes that can jump on top of him. Tuska's a good example with Snowball, but other good heroes are like Spearbreaker, Spectre, things like that. People that force the fight against him, they don't allow him to get away and force you into combat. So we won't see a sniper this game, but we are going to see the other maybe slightly too strong heroes today of Shadow Fiend and Juggernaut. And we've been seeing a lot of Earthshaker lately as well. Yeah. He's a really good counter against Shadow Fiend as well, because SF's a little squishy. He doesn't have an escape, so if you can set up a good fissure and fissure block him in the 1v1 matchup mid, then Shadow Fiend's going to have a bad time. We have no Quap bans either from Moscow5, so we very likely could see a Quap versus SF with a roaming Earthshaker. I've seen that work so many times versus SF in the last couple of weeks.
I also find it interesting that neither team is opting for any sort of early jungle support. Some of these teams prioritize getting something like a Chen nice and early. Maybe even we'll sneak in an Enigma from time to time just to kind of set the tempo there, but they've been ignoring that. They've also been ignoring the Wisp a lot as of recently. I mean, maybe the nice perk to getting something like an Earthshaker nice and early in the draft is like, hey, the option of getting a final pick Brood or sneaking in something like a Wisp becomes a little less potent of an option because Earthshaker is just so good against that, so it can really set the tone for the draft. Like, don't try to pull anything out behind your pocket. We already got a nice established covered. And I know you mentioned that Jug is such a top potent hero, but we actually don't see him a lot as of recent. He was in the last series, but before that, I don't think we saw him even at Star Ladder 12.
Yeah, his win rate is actually not as good as some of the other top picked heroes. Lion and Venge have really high win rates. I'm surprised Lion made it to the third round. That's amazing. Most people ban out at least him in the first or second round, but they actually opted for a Lina ban instead of Lina plus Earthshaker versus a Shadow Fiend would also result in a lot of SF kills, so Lina's been very popular mid lately. But Lion squeaking himself in, he's got a plus 60% win rate, at least during DAC. Earthshaker wasn't hugely win rate then, and Jug was sitting close to 50%, but it wasn't amazing. And he's also received some nerfs since then. He lost a nerf to his agility gain, I believe, and I don't know if there's anything else.
For Jug?
Yeah, I think it was
the
just
Omni slash range was also taken down.
Yeah, that was nerfed before, and then he also got a follow-up nerf with agility gain, I believe. So I think that was the nerf. The extent.
It was funny because until his nerfs, this hero had not been nerfed at all since like the olden golden days of Dota. It was just Spluff, buff, and people are like, okay, wait. He's been getting a lot of buffs.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try throwing him in, seeing how it works, and people just recognize his raw right-click talent, or like it's all about the Omni Slash, it's all about the Q. It's just the fact that now he hits so freaking fast, and he's got such high armor. I think it was the armor. They brought in the armor 1.
And then somebody was like, hey, let's try building Mask of Madness on this hero. And then they're like, holy crap, this does a stupid... No, you know, it's the crit, that the crit at level 1, his 1 skill point in Blade Dance does more crit than KotlGuy at level 1. An ultimate, like, it's ridiculous.
It's like one of the best value points in a passive in the game.
Yeah, by far.
It's so good. And people recognize that, and... The thing is like, and then people get on it and they harp, and a lot of people say Dota as a whole is such a trendy game, and eventually you just see these heroes enough that you build up the counters, you build up the counterplay to going against them, and then you see these heroes again fall off to the wayside a little bit. But for now, we're in that Shadow Fiend Troll Jug kind of era, and we're going to have to put up with it to round out the remainder of this Moscow5 Duza gaming draft. We got a late pickup of a Bat Rider, and then the Wind Ranger here for Duza. I'm curious to see how they're going to lane this one out with a couple of different potent offlane options. And then Moscow5, they finish with the old classic Storm Spirit, and they get up the Clockwork. So that is a lot of gap closing, a lot of initiation for the M5 group.
Yeah, they have a lot of really tanky heroes, and that's really beneficial to have a Dazzle with that, because the way that armor and resistance work is that if you're healing somebody that has high armor and resistance, then that heal is going farther. It's essentially giving you extra HP. So picking heals with tanky heroes is really good synergy there. The weirdest pick in this game, in my opinion, is the Wind Ranger, and that's probably going to be a mid Ranger, especially based on his items here. And that's going to be Wind Ranger versus Shadow Fiend. And I think mid Wind Ranger is probably the only viable way to play the hero right now, as a core, preferably not an off lane.
Yeah.
Because her armor is just too low, her movement speed isn't that good, and Wind Run is very easily countered by 2 disables. It takes a little bit more. It used to be a 2.5 second duration, now it's 3. But it's not really good enough to keep you survivable in the offlane, because while you will have that 3-second evasion, you're still going to have to deal with trading hits with their support, and you really can't do that unless you get like 2 rings of protection and get extra regen pooled. So maybe if you're random Wind Ranger, it's viable offlane because you have so much armor that you can purchase, but it just doesn't really work in pro games. So mid Wind Ranger is still pretty good if you can land Shackles. So grab a Maelstrom, most likely gain Aghanims, and then maybe something like a Shadow Blade or a Blink Dagger for mobility, and then they can go around disabling people. But they have really good disables on their lineup. If you look at them, they actually have a stupid amount of stuns. They have 4 good disables. This is going to be a little bit of a tough game for Storm, in my opinion. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, he's got to be able to zip in and out. If he decides to go down the road of picking up an Orchid, being able to get his hit and run without getting caught out, which is going to be a risk. Every single person on their team has some way to do some sort of CC or disable a little bit, even if it's like just a simple Jug Omni Slash. On top of that, though, you're talking Power Shot, Lasso, Lion's got a nice array of both Hex and Earth Spike, and of course the Earthshaker himself. It's going to be pretty ridiculous here, but a lot of attention towards the top of the river to lead things into this one. I'll just start off roster introductions before action does break out. Dire's side, Moscow5, who came in to replace Virtus Pro. We got a bit of a new roster here for the boys. We got Chami, who's going to be their core player. Right now, he's going to be repping your Shadow Fiend. Of course, we got to get a couple of these pauses underway because, you know, it's Dota after all.
Got to hit our quota.
Got to get a moment to get that prayer in, you know, feel good, kind of have all the team on the same page. Big Num, by the way, he's going to be playing your Brewmaster. And just the last series, I didn't quite catch a lot of it, but I believe it was M5. They ran a support role Brewmaster.
Really?
Like a 4-position Brewmaster. They're one of the teams that like to experiment a bit. They'll do like the Night Stalker 4-position from time to time. And it just seems like they're one of the groups that like to play more of a very selfless support, who kind of is the serious ward whore, if you will, and just kind of helping out everyone else, moving, defending. And then they like to have a 4-position who either jungles or likes to get into the action sooner than later.
Well, I think Brew's pretty good for this. His base armor isn't very high, but he's got evasion, so that in a lot of ways gives him huge survivability for ganking. If you do get 6 on him, I mean, a farm Brewmaster is not that different from a support Brewmaster, except for the mention that usually they get their blink much faster, so they can initiate with their clap, and the clap will be a higher level, the ulti will be a higher level. But once you ulti, your spirits aren't really that strong if you're farmed versus not farmed. You're looking at an aura or at best an Aghanim Scepter, so if you can get decent position or you can farm a blink, you're talking about a support that can disrupt the enemy team very heavily and also do decent damage to squishy heroes while also being at no threat of dying, essentially. So it can definitely work. It's just getting to the blink or maybe position your ulti can sometimes be difficult, and especially with the stuns that Duza has here, this is maybe not the best game to play support Brewmaster because he's going to have lowish HP, he might not have a blink. If he gets chain stunned, he's just going to die. and a core brewmaster might be able to farm a BKB or a blink earlier than the supports can handle and things like that. So I'll be really curious to see if this works well. But I think it has potential. But Big Num's gonna have to play really well here.
Yeah. Well, based on who's playing what, it is feeling like they're going to be doing the 4-position Panda. Big Num has been typically more of their support player, and definitely Afterlife has been the off-lane position. And him repping this Clockwork, I imagine that he's going to be the one to kind of do more of the same. But they have eyes on bottom rune right now. Only the Jug nearby, Axmo, who's going to be guarding it out. But yeah, finishing out Moscow5 on the top in their support. Oh boy, I didn't catch his real name, and on Purge, I'm not even going to frankly bother to introduce his Storm Spirit.
I cannot read that at all.
Storm Spirit it is.
Is there any way that I can copy paste this? Whoa, they are asking for a remake.
All right,
and
well,
they just left.
Purge, welcome to Star Ladder. This has been the adventure I've been going through for quite a while here, but it looks like we are going to be jumping into a remake. They've officially DC'd. Right, we're going to go in and just pull on up. Disconnect here and leave game, but
I just get scared that they're gonna all come back and I'm gonna miss the game or something like that.
We all get scared of something like that. But while we wait, we'll get everyone back into the lobby. Zyro and I shared a lot of time together on pauses, so I hope you're ready to.
What do you guys usually do?
Well, we talk about a bunch of random crap. I mean, we were going deep into Google for a while there, seeing just how much they're controlling everything. I mean, you probably obviously know they're doing a good thing with the internet so far. They have cars that are driving themselves.
I'm excited for that, man.
I mean, I heard that the only crash they have with these cars is when a person actually has to get behind it and take over. Other than that, they're self-sufficient. They go around, they get the job done. They're talking about doing self-service now. Where does it stop, Purge? When do they become Skynet and we're just over?
I don't know. That's the only scary part about it is if they take advantage of us and abuse all that power. But there's a lot of good things that they do.
Yeah, the thing is that everything they do is good. So it's like, well, is it that bad?
Yeah. What about like when I buy a power supply on Amazon? Like how it's so helpful if every single ad that I look at for the rest of my life is power supplies on all of my social media.
That's where we got to, because he started going really deep into like Facebook and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, you think you're getting all this great service for free, but then they're actually getting all this extra information out of you, and then they can track you, and it's like, oh, I happened to see that one time you gandered at a bra for your wife, so here's a bunch of naked women for you. Yeah. And then you go on the Facebook and she's looking over your shoulder like, what the hell's going on over here? And like, thanks Google, thanks Facebook.
I really appreciate that one. Well, I'm ready for self-driving cars. Less accidents, traffic will be faster, especially if you live in the LA area. It'll be really useful. So
hey, I wonder at that point you probably can go out to the bars. You don't have to worry about a whole lot. I wonder if they would actually have any sort of say in that. Like, you've been drinking, you're gonna have to verify your Google car there, sir, before we let you get back on the road.
Because then people start puking in these cars and there'd be no taxi cab to be like, you owe me $100 because I have to go clean that up now. Unless they have some like puke sensor.
Yeah, Ush, you out there hearing about that one? Sorry, I just had to call out my boy right there for that. But but no, I hear you. But the thing is, it probably goes into self-drive at some point, and you have to like trust the driver. Like, I hate these robots, so I'm going to just drive the car myself and accidentally kill someone. But enough about the darkness, Purge.
Darkness.
So we have to get back. We're remade. They got it into AP, it looks like. They're going to flash through here and grab up the same picks. The bans are obviously going to be a bit crazy and different, but I noticed they put a ban here on my boy Pugna. And while we have the moment, Purge, I know we were talking a bit about Jug and how he's been getting a lot of buffs, and people are like, whoa, this hero's pretty good. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Pugna. This hero has gotten, you're already making the face, but listen, he's gotten so many buffs recently that people just kind of passed over. They're like, Decrypify, you do it on an ally, you move a little bit faster than you used to. He's already a very fast hero. It does more damage, it slows even more on your enemy. Ward was buffed, Blast was buffed. It's pretty cheap at level 1, you can zone with it. Ward's good against the magical burst like Storm.
It's got a great animation, great base damage.
The Decrep's good against this physical meta we're in. Troll tries to go in there, you're like, hey, Decrep your ally. Axe jumps in, Decrep Axe. There's potential.
That's a good point. There's a lot of that's probably the best point, is that there are a lot of physical heroes, but I think the main issue is he doesn't have a stun. And his HP gain is really bad, so it's pretty easy for him to get blown up.
Well, I imagine he fits that same position like a Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage has no stun, but he could do early zoning. Yeah, he's a bit frail.
Sky is a silence, though. Huge difference here.
Ward could beat your ass. Yeah, well, you don't want to silence.
Ward's good.
Unleash your fury of spells, I say.
I think he definitely has a lot of damage, and pub matches he can definitely work really well, especially as a mid in my opinion, but he's easily gankable, he has low HP, He kind of has to farm. He's countered by BKBs though, but you can farm really fast, so maybe you can get a Hex or something like that. And his Drain is a lot better now. You can use it on allies, but it's also a bit, I don't know. It's good, but it's, I don't know. Pugna is definitely close, I guess. I would agree with you there.
I feel like
not quite there yet.
One more patch, they're going to sneak in another silly buff, and then people are going to be like, Ice Frog has just gone too far, and they're going to take it over. But we'll see. That's just a theory for another day, and something that I always will have my tinfoil hat on about as far as Dota goes. But here we go, back underway. It seems that we'll finally get to see this Dota match develop. Our game number 1 here, apparently a BGGG taking on Moscow5. No, they just put on the wrong logo, apparently.
That is like, team, what's their name again?
It's Team Duza, sure enough, going to be taking on the Moscow5 group. And look at the tension here at the top of the river for just this one bounty. You got 4 from one side, 3 from the other, eyeballing each other.
Limbo can very easily block this off. Oh, he actually puts the pen on one side. That was a really nice block here, but can Big Num survive? I'm going to see some remnants. This is getting a little scary, especially with some raises.
Oh, God.
Triple raise there.
Oh,
it's
God.
actually okay, level 1. That's the first blood.
Oh, my God. And of all the people to get it, too, it's going to be the Storm who picks it up first. Shadow Fiend's getting involved. Flo's like, I got to get the hell out of here. He's going to be very low on life, but still on the wrong side of the map. He's going to have to fly his way back through the mid lane, back to his laning setup. This is an awkward start and a very promising lead in here from Moscow5 getting that early bit of a boost.
That looked pretty good for them. I think what Earthshaker needed to do actually was block off the Panda as well. And I thought that's what they were going to do at first, was keep the 2 heroes to the right. That way they could easily contest the rune. But it didn't work out like that, unfortunately. With the Brewmaster, that ended up having to be the target that they went on. And once you clap for 25% movement and attack speed, your DPS is significantly reduced, and they were able to get that kill there.
Very nicely done. Wind Ranger, though, is the one that has to go down. So, of all the people going against the Shadow Fiend now, who's going to have that advantage? They're doing this Wind Ranger matchup, which we don't see very often. You know, that she could try to get it done, but she's going now against this dual lane. And Renator, or now called King R, he's putting a little bit of that hate onto Wind Ranger as it stands. But bottom lane, the matchup, it's going to be Jug for now going toe-to-toe with your Clockwork, who is able to get the creeps under the tower, so he gets the benefit of some under-tower CS and some easy XP gains. Do you think the viability of him trying to push to level 6, getting that hook shot and just trying to get things set up in the mid game is going to be big here for Moscow5, or do you think they kind of have a secured path into the late game to work with? Or
there's 3 really good targets that Clockwork can go on this game. One of which is Earthshaker. Earthshaker can't really cast a spell through Battery Assault unless there's creeps around taking some of those stuns. Lion's another hero that's really good for Clock to go on, and Wind Ranger as well is pretty good, but she'll probably get a 4 staff at some point, so her viability will eventually be okay against Clockwork. So I think he has a pretty good game in here. He finds one hero. That's 2 Battery Assault. This is actually really dangerous here. Oh, the fissure block! That was really cheap. It actually forced the Lion outside of the Cog area. He didn't even take mana burn there, so that was really well done by Limbo. Any bit of a miss fissure there would have resulted in a kill. Like, Clockwork is so dangerous here when he catches soul support, so he's just gonna, I mean, he's level 3 already. He's gonna continue getting a lot of experience now because it's harder for them to bully him, and those supports have to be so careful, because if he gets a soul kill, it's bad news. A kill in the mid lane, actually. Roaming Brewmaster here gets a clap off, and the other cool thing about this support is that you have a guaranteed Drunken Brawler hit on the first hit, so you're talking about a nuke for 175 plus a physical damage crit of about 120, and then it gets reduced by armor. That's actually really good damage for level 3. You could look at Drunken Brawler as another skill. It's actually another damage skill. It's not that bad.
No, yeah. Huge amounts of burst damage at the stop allows for an easy follow-through from someone like Shadow Fiend to kind of finish the job. And really, who sees a roaming Brewmaster coming nowadays in Dota? So probably caught under shock off guard there. And now you're going to see your Wind Ranger be down 0-2 already at the start here going against this Shadow Fiend. But bouncing back on that Clockwork, almost first blood there at the bottom lane. He read that situation well, went right to the pull camp, saw that the minute mark was coming, wanted to be there to block it, and just kind of walked into a Lion, but thankfully for that Earthshaker nearby, he's able to be fine and walk on out. Top lane, though, a lane that we haven't really addressed too much. It's going to be Storm Spirit taking in the gross amount of farm here with Dazzle now nearby. Bigum, who's kind of being that position 4, working with the pull camp there, but look who's far back and away. Flo here, the Bat Rider, he's going to be trying to just sap some of the XP from the low ground. could be struggling a little bit in this laning phase. Is there going to be a point, Purge, you feel like they might have to just kind of sack this lane and go to the jungle at some point to kind of boost up his farm a bit, or does he need to just kind of withstand this for a bit?
It gets really scary when Storm hits 6, but before 6, it's not that bad because their ability to gap close is weak. They have a Dazzle who's only got a 30% slow from Poison Touch. It's unlikely he'll get more than 2 points in this, but usually most Dazzles leave it at 1.
Yeah.
And then they've got a Brewmaster. So the only way that he's going to die is if he gets within range to get multiple slowed or multiple stunned by Storm Spirit and then followed up. So I think he's actually okay here. His chances of dying are quite low. He can even get Fissure blocked and it doesn't matter because he can just Firefly over. So I think he's going to get okay experience. He's not going to get any farm though. Big Num is going to shift over and try to get behind him, but they did have an Observer Ward on their tower. So
just no respect though in this mid lane.
Yeah, was that a solo?
Yeah, well, the 4-minute was about to pop for the rune, so he puts off 2 raises to bring Wind Ranger down, so she can't consider going for a rune and contesting anything.
Okay.
She dances and flirts back, and he just snipes her. 1 quick raise, and she's gone.
If you get tilted against an SF, it's just the worst thing ever. There's going to be a smoke around to catch him. I think he'll die from this.
Yeah, this is desperate.
We have a Fissure and a stun. It's going to be a Hex first. See a Fissure and a second couple hits. There's the 1 stun. He actually did.
Boom.
He's actually really strong. There's a Grave. Great TP from Dazzle. He barely was level 3. Oh, Shackle. He's going for it. There's the hit. He gets him. Great play by Undershock to secure the kill. But a great TP support as well by King R. That was really well played by both sides.
That's what you got to do. You're Dazzle. You're a bad one. You got to have that express ticket, that TP, so that you could show up at a moment's notice to help out an ally in need. And it was so close to saving the Shadow Fiend, but because of the Bull Rush tactics right there, Wind Ranger was able to secure the kill, and a kill she really needed at that point. Already being down 2-3 kills, allowing Shadow Fiend to get all that gross amounts of farm. You can tell she was desperate to reach out for reinforcements here, but look at top lane flow. Look at the flying from behind setup with the Fissure. Now can move on forward. No lasso, of course, but he's going to slowly try to burn up the Storm Spirit, who's just going to have to run away here, but has no ultimate to get on out, so he's just roasted and toasted up. And quickly, the Duza squad are firing back. They get 2 kills.
That was really fast rotation from the supports. As soon as the kill happened mid, they shifted around to go towards the top lane. And that was basically the Storm being a little bit too far forward and not anticipating the supports being there. So that was, but the important part was that they got there really fast. That's the best way to increase your gank percentile, is that you have low time between each gank, because that's less time where they can think like, oh, I wonder where those supports are. They could be stacking, they could be farming jungles, but sometimes they'll be setting up good ganks like that, and that's going to be a huge acceleration to Batrider, but most importantly a deceleration to what Storm Spirit can do this game. So that's a lot of space made while giving your team an advantage, and a really nice gank from these supports so far.
A lot of movement happening, not looking to allow Moscow5 to have too much of an upper hand in the early game. Storm comes back and, like you said, was just a bit too cocky in the lane before he got his level 6, which he does have now. Early robe leads me to believe he'll be eventually going down the path of picking up an Orchid here, not stopping off for the good old reliable Soul Ring along the way, but I imagine that when the mid-game period does show, we're already going to see a lot of fireworks from both sides. But here we go, already top lane, putting to use that ball. He jumps on forward, tries to get a hold of Limbo here with the early Vortex, keeps with the follow-through, stuns there, and it's the 3rd ball that's going to get it done. So they finally take down Limbo there in the top lane, and Storm, after being brought down earlier, gets the fire back, and now is going to be 2-1.
Yeah, so Earthshaker a little out of position. I noticed some of the farm distribution that Moscow5 was doing here. They're pretty happy to even give Brewmaster farm priority over the Storms. They can get Arcanes. We have another kill.
Yeah, crazy action mid. They get the jump. Afterlife, after getting his level 6, moves to mid lane, gets the jump on the Wind Ranger, and takes her out. So just as Wind Ranger thought things were kind of going for the better, she gets taken down another peg.
And Clock picks up a bottle. Bottle's a really good item if you're playing offlane Clockwork, because it guarantees him a lot more mana gain. Even if he gets bounty runes once in a while, it's really useful. And Clock's mana pool is a bit low early game, so sometimes it's hard to use all your things. Another kill top. That was a Fissure into Lasso, I guess. He didn't even have Blink Dagger, and the Storm goes down there.
Well, it's the 2nd time we've seen in that top lane the Fissure just kind of helping things out for the bat to easily secure the kill and slowly walk on down the Storm Spirit. Probably caught with a little short on the mana. And Storm Spirit had really nowhere to go. So good grab for them. They get things at 3-5. It's a bit early to look, but we'll kind of get a gander at how things are going here. The net worth, you can see about 2,500 in the favor for M5 as it stands right here. But looks like 8-minute rune is going to pop up. Afterlife snags up and bottles up the bounty rune here and starts to make his way towards potentially this mid lane at another jump. Yeah. Weck is here on his Lion, just kind of being the babysitter for now for Undershock. So potential baited opportunity, but Shadow Fiend on the other side of the river is level 8 now with an Aquila.
The Clock's going to be looking for either a support or potentially a hook on the mid laner. He's almost in range of the Wind Ranger, but he'd much rather go on a line if possible. Oh, there he goes. He actually whiffs it, and they ping it.
Airball. Not going to be happening. They obviously know where he is. Bottom lane can feel a bit more comfortable about pushing a bit as Clockwork's not going to be in lane. That tier 1 is actually already brought down from Axmo here, your Jug, level 8. Got phase boots already. He's probably going to grab up his Morbid Mask here, and yeah, no surprise. The cookie cutter build up here for Jug. 1-1-1-1 and some stats. Just kind of getting things started. Flo, after some couple engagements there in the top lane, he's going to take the time to finish out his Blink Dagger in the jungle. He's got about 1,700 gold, and then he gets that mobility tool, and things will continue to get a bit exciting here. This is a game where I imagine in the mid-game period, things are going to get pretty crazy. You're going to have your level 6 Brew, who's now smoked up, looking to engage. You already got your Clockwork with his Hood Shot. You got the Ball Lightning for Storm, Jug's Omni Slash, Bat Rider with his Blink. Purge, things are going to get crazy.
Yeah, Brewmaster spots out the Wind Ranger illusion. They're going to quickly realize that's not the real one. They could get this kill, especially because Brew is 6. You can clap ult and definitely lock down the Wind Ranger enough for Shadowfiend to get a double raise, but under tower it's a little dangerous here. One thing I was really just noticing is how greedy the supports on the Radiant team were, because you've got a line that's going to need a blink, you have a Bat Rider that needs a blink, and you have an Earthshaker that needs a blink. But they're actually doing a great job getting farm. The Earthshaker's been pretty much sitting solo off lane. He's level 6 now. He's at 800 gold, which isn't that bad for 10 minutes. I mean, if he doesn't die too much here, he can definitely get his blink pre-20 minutes. And that would really help out the Radiant team in terms of their execution, trying to shut down Brewmaster before he gets ults off.
You feel like it's that important that he's going to go right for the blink, not stop off for anything along the way.
If you're having a good game, you definitely should. We have a bit of engagement with Wind Ranger, but she's going to be just fine.
Oh, they turn it right back, though. That Blink Dagger now complete on the flow. And there's the debut. Tries to get him to the cliff, can't quite get it. Grave is going to come off, and here comes the bodyguard. Clockwork jumps in, tries to help out his ally. At least gets the return kill on the Wind Ranger, making it much more worth it for M5 at the end of it. So it ends up being a successful Blink debut for your Bat Rider, but with Clockwork constantly lingering on the mid lane, he's able to get the return kill.
Yeah, so Earthshaker is close to 1,000 now. I think it's not bad to rush the blink if you're having a good game, and he's definitely having a good game. They're going to spot Brewmaster up here, but it's going to be kind of late. There's they actually don't. He's so curved around the trees here.
But now they will.
He actually still didn't spot the
They
bat.
can see him. They can see him. Flo is there. And I don't think he knows Flo is there. So now Flo's coming in from behind. They're going to make the jump on the Limbo. Echo Slam in the trees. Flame Break. They take down the Brew before he can get the split off. And Storm Spirit's like, I got to get the hell out of here. Ball Lightning's back to the tower.
Blink in 3. No, they're not going to go for it. Oh, actually,
Undershock, though. Man, look at him. It's like, oh, God.
Look at the pings. Brewmaster's like, yo, he's getting dived right now. No shackle there.
2 shots and a power shot, maybe?
Oh, he's going for it. Couple right clicks. There's going to be a Dazzle here as well, so he can Grave if he gets in trouble. He's bottling back up. Healing up just fine. Tower's getting kind of low.
Ooh, blinking away from the poison. Oh, this got awkward real quick for Duza. They got to get the hell back. They've gone a little too far. Moscow5 have already rotated all to this top lane. Hook shot. It's going to connect on someone. It connects on 2. A 2-for-1 special. They're going to lock him down. Flame Break pops out Afterlife, but they get the kill, rocking both supports down. And now they got the Cyclone up on the bat. Chomi locked in place side by side with Mr. Dazzle, and now Axmo going to try to get away desperately here on the back of his Blade Fury. Will make it out. 2-for-1 trade. Things could have gotten a lot worse, though, there for Duza, but they actually managed to make it out with only losing 2.
It was one of the old, I'm going to play sacrifice Clockwork and initiate just so that my team can force a fight.
Yeah.
Because they did TP a lot for that, and they really needed to catch somebody and make that worth it. So catching those 2 heroes is the best as well. Line as well as Earthshaker, they're pretty squishy. And a really good Panda split as well. He microed that really well. Got all of his nukes off, disabled the Bat Rider to prevent lassos and things like that. So it was well done. Trading in a clock for those 2 supports in that situation I think is good.
You can just tell both teams, they're fighters, man. When something breaks out, they quickly get on the scene to help out. I mean, the laning phase feels to be over at this point. For a while there, no one was acknowledging the bottom lane as everyone wanted to get in on the mid lane and top lane action. But Axmo does make his return now. He's got his Mask of Madness complete, so the possibility to kind of on the back end of one of these successful fights, hopefully for Duza, they can move into the Roche pit and get things started there. It seems like an easier Roche get-up for at least the Duza squad for now, though. M5, they do have their Shadow Fiend bringing together a bit of farm. On top of that, though, it feels like they might have to wait a bit if they want to get Roche done. It would have to take a pretty significant fight at this point if they wanted to kind of fall through with an objective like that.
They don't have the best Roche heroes either. Like Shadow Fiend's good against it because of his minus armor aura that he's got, but He's only got 1 skill point into it, and other than that, I guess, does Dazzle have a medallion yet? Not even close. So once they get a medallion, it's going to be no problem, but their DPS just isn't really there yet. Storm doesn't kill Roche very fast. Brewmaster's okay against it because he can Drunken Haze it, which lowers the accuracy of Roche, but that's about it. I don't think taking Roche is necessarily what they want to do. They more just want to farm their blinks and maybe some of their core items like medallion and whatever Clock's going to build. He's got 1,300 gold and he hasn't spent anything yet, so I'm not sure who he's buying. Ags Rush, Force Staff. He might need a BKB this game because there's so many stuns. Might see a kill top, by the way. Oh, the hook barely too short on the Earthshaker.
But will he make it out alive? Oh, fakes once, but there's a big raise. He's got nowhere to go. Yeah, easily run down right there. Afterlife gets that kill on his Clockwork.
I mean, except for the whole hook miss, that wasn't necessarily well done, but they got the kill. They just wanted to play it safe, go right on the Earthshaker. The way they executed the gank there was a backup method that got the kill, but it definitely took way longer.
Longer than expected, but hey, Clockwork gets a new little boost, and, well, it looks like it's going to go for a Blade Mail Purge. He's got the Chainmail and the Robe of Magi now complete.
Okay.
Blade Mail in this matchup, though. Ooh, more for the Jug, maybe, if he tries to right-click after getting hook-shotted. Maybe the Wind Ranger's Focus Fire. It's not like he's going against a Skywrath Mage or anything like that, but I don't know, maybe looking to boost up his own personal durability a bit?
Yeah, I mean, the armor alone is great for survivability. He's also gone Tranquil Boots this game, which is not to be underestimated as an armor item. It's 4 armor there, so his survivability is really high against Jug right now. But the main thing is that he wants to be able to just reflect whatever line throws at him in fights or Wind Ranger Power Shot. It's basically just a way to leverage damage in the cheapest possible way. It's a 2,000 gold item, and if you can get 300 pure damage out of it, off of a reflection, that's the same as a Dagon. So it's a little bit cheaper than a Dagon. It gives you what you need, more mana, since he didn't buy treads or anything like that. So it's a good item for Clockwork to initiate on, especially when they have this many nukes. But at some point, I feel he's gonna have to get a BKB, maybe.
Boy, Big Gnome could be in trouble here. Top lane, they're about to scout him out. He's trying to just farm up his Blink Dagger. Gets the split off before the lasso's gonna connect. It'll be a defensive Bruce split, but it doesn't even cost them anything on Radiant's side. So at the end of it, they're still happy. They'll fly
that's
away.
Pretty cool. It's a long cooldown though is the only downside, so maybe the Radiant team could take advantage of it. Mid tower's taking some damage. TBing actually mid, and I think they didn't use Lasso, they didn't use anything. Is there a blink on Earthshaker? No, he actually went Arcane Boots. He went back. He was doing pretty well, but he died once or twice there, so he said, whatever, I'm just gonna go for regen items. But if you could have gotten the blink at 12-15 minutes or something like that, it's amazing.
Whoops. Oh, a bit of an overshot right there for your Storm Spirit. Now he's stuck with a little less mana, and Bat just simply goes, okay, buddy, and says, see you later. Storm's not going to be able to grab that one for her, but he does get the deny on the top tier 1 tower, taking away that bit of extra gold from the Duza squad, and meanwhile, bottom lane, Afterlife will snag up an Illusion Runes, so here we go. Pressure on the mid lane here, though. We already have 4 of the Duza squad, and the Focus Fire does come out. They got something they want to start here. If they did want to consider sneaking Jug into that Roche pit, they want to remove this access point on the side of Moscow5. They'd already taken out that bottom tier 1 tower. If they get this mid tier 1, things become a bit easier to kind of sneak into the pit without having Moscow5 easily rotate nearby.
I think this tower will go down unless we see a hook shot, but it doesn't look like they want to. They're spreading up the split push, pushing the bot lane. SF shifting down there. He's got his Yules already, so anybody that comes to defend has to be really careful here.
He went Midas first, then Yules on that Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, we actually haven't seen a lot of Midases recently on Shadow Fiend. It's mostly they're just focusing on getting as much farm as possible. Yeah, I haven't seen that many Midas. I've seen it in pubs, but not in pro games usually.
Well, Chomi did have a really good early game.
Oh, yeah,
considering the Wind Ranger went down like 2-3 times. He got that raise kill. I mean, I don't think there's any reason not to go a little extra greedy early on.
It'll definitely help him. For sure. It's got Treads, Aquila, Yules, 1,300 gold, probably BKB here. Because if he ever gets Blink lassoed, he'll just die. He kind of needs survivability.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Blink so he can sit back and then jump in from range or something. I'm not sure exactly what he should build, but
the Yules is so nice to have though in a game against Jug.
Yeah.
He throws out the Omni,
really
quick self Yules, and then you could just turn things right back around. And it's really become quite the tool for most Shadow Fiends and almost becoming the new standard. And something that just last Star Ladder Purge I was like mockingly bringing up after seeing like Arteezy and Sumail doing it in some pubs, like it could be an option, and people laughed. Purge, people laughed, but now look where things have come. In DAZ, other teams from the Eastern side started to imitate it and try to bring it into their own, but here we are. It's just funny to see how Dota can change like that. But Radiant, they get rid of that mid tier 1 Purge, and now they're dancing with Roche here, but already Clockwork scouting it out, and well, Are they going to be able to get away with this without some sort of engagement? Nope, there it is. Breakout.
He's got to bring him to the Earthshaker for more stuns, but they mess it up. What a big mistake. Oh, the shackle actually does go through, though, so what a salvage there. If Storm would have been more or less greedy, he could have balled super far away there, but the shackle actually caught. That was a bit of a mistake from the Batrider and also an issue with the Fissure. They weren't able to bring him for more chain stuns, so he was able to get away. Hookshot goes in right on top of the line. This is really bad for Lion. Lion does get all of his spells up before he dies, but the Panda Split just in time.
Oh man, Power Shot still flies though. Clockwork goes down. They end up taking down one. This was a buyback also of the Storm Spirit to get it re-involved. He's going to jump. The longest vortex I've ever seen in my life is going to be acknowledged, but they still get a hold of the Jug. Nice fissure block though, slows them down, and he makes the runaway, but the Power Shot connects and will take down the Brew. Will Undershot get away with this one? Raise connects one time. Chomi, the last raise, is going to be a parting gift though. And they end up losing 2-3 if you count the Storm Spirit. They do prevent Duza from going for the Roche, at least for now, but I don't think it was well worth the defense. They've been investing a lot of time here, and they've lost more than they've gained.
It was kind of I would say that's a semi-badly executed fight from both sides.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a mistake on the Storm. They did still get him, and then the fight was pretty well done by Moscow5, but they had a bit of issues at the end there. Shadow Fiend wasn't hitting his raises. Not that he was going to get a kill anyways. He was probably asking for his team to come. And then the Brewmaster dying as well. He probably should have played that way more safe. He wasn't anticipating the extra power shot range. He didn't need to die. He outplayed them, and then he was like, we're going to get a kill, and then it didn't happen. It was good fissures from the Earthshaker, though. Like, other than the first initial fight where they missed the Storm chain stun, they played really well, I think.
Now having eyes for the top 20-minute rune here, your Storm has Orchid complete, and you can feel he's very frisky. He wants to be able to get these kills and set things up, but as expected, when you see all the lockdown and stun on the side of Duza, it's not going to be easy. And anything that he thinks he can get a hold of is going to cost a pretty penny here. Bottom side, though, time to go back in for the Roche here. And Jug's already got things started. And I think this time they'll be pretty successful, though the pings are going to be coming out here. M5 are en route. They see the power shot. The weave's going to be dropped. Roche is only at half-life Purge. They're going to make a go at it still. And look at Chomi. He's creeping about it. But he gets caught with the lasso and pulled back. Kidnapped from his team. Slashed and ripped apart right there. Axmo dishes out the Omni. And, well, Storm Spirit letting him know that he's still thinking about maybe an opportunity to kind of sneak in there. But with losing your Shadow Fiend, there's no reason to kind of stick around.
Yeah, they had to initiate with somebody that had more survival. They might actually still fight. They missed a hook shot, apparently. He's running with the Blade Mail. Reflects 195, getting healed as well.
Oh, God. They just ignore him.
There
Stay away from that.
In. He does have ulti. Can they kill Brewmaster in time? There's the Echo Slam as well. It's going to be close. Doesn't get it off. Could have wanted there. I think he had a chance of surviving, but he didn't pop his ulti in time.
Oh, it looked like it was almost mid-cast, but then the lockdown, man. They just keep him in check. Nothing's going to be happening easy here.
This is worth it for them. They did lose a hero. It's better if he doesn't die, but Roche is not taking it, and Shadow Fiend's almost alive again. Juggernaut runs back into the pace, about half HP. Clock's got to be careful here. He's getting low. There's a Finger of Death. No Blade Mail up in time. There's a Grave. That'll buy him a second, but it's honestly not going to matter. Oh, he's going to TP back. Will we see a stun? No stun. He saves him. Big save from the Dazzle.
Storm, though. Oh, Storm also barely going to be escaping. Jug, he runs the wrong way. They're narrowly escaping.
All right, back in Roche. It's getting low. 1,000 HP. Can they defend it? Shadow Fiend's coming. He's going to maybe raise, long-range raise. Here comes the raise. He's thinking about it. No, he's out of position now. Doesn't get it.
They still want to fight. They jump in. They get the split Limbo. Left behind in the pit, barely alive. Gets the Earthshock off. Moves forward. He might barely make it out. Uphill, it's not going to connect.
He gives up.
He goes down. Forced after the high ground for your Wind Ranger to get away. Meanwhile, Jug is able to finish off the Dazzle and take him down. Limbo's still good. And Radiant team, man, they walk away, they get it, top and above. Oh, comes back into a Requiem. Axmo will go down. They make the Aegis pay. And M5.
Earthshaker died for that too.
How did he go down? He got caught in the Requiem,
Shadow
I assume.
Fiend Requiem.
Oh my God.
He stuck around at like 40 HP and was like, I'm going to help, guys. And it was probably, I'm sure it wasn't even close.
He probably wanted to get close for a fissure to help Jug escape, but oh my God, it doesn't happen. He walks into a Requiem.
The Requiem range is actually huge. It's even bigger than it looks like it is. You have to be so careful if you're low HP
Freaking Ice
versus
Frog.
Yeah, it's all his fault, man.
Dude, I hate that. So many things. Like even I think upheavals like that as well for Warlock. It's like I'm out of the skull thing. Why am I still so slow? I know there's a lingering effect, but yeah. sometimes you're just like, I feel like I'm in my well and I'm still slow from that freaking thing. So unfortunately though, Earthshaker, man, he tries to come in, help out his buddy, and ends up just feeding over an extra kill. So when it's all said and done, Purge, I mean, it was what felt like a 5-minute Roche engagement from both sides. M5, they rid of the Aegis on the side of Duza, and they get a couple of kills.
That was good for them, I think.
Yeah.
If you look at the graph, it's a little bit of a jump down back towards their advantage. I think they had some sloppy plays there, but they cleaned up, they killed Jug, they broke the Aegis, so any gold advantage that they got from that is pretty much nullified. So, well played by them. I'm a little disappointed that Storm doesn't have any items really past the Orchid. He's had the Orchid for a while, it's 24 minutes now. He's got an Ogre Club next that'll be a BKB. The BKB protects against stuns and things, but it really limits the amount of mana you had. Because I don't know if you were looking at Storm during that fight, but if you only have an Orchid and you don't even have a Soul Ring, you're gonna be seriously limited on mana. You can only ball a couple times and then you're gonna be out. So, and he was a safe lane, by the way. Like, it's because he got killed so many times by the Batrider and the ganks, but he's safe lane. He doesn't have a major amount of items, and he should have his Bloodstone by now.
Yeah.
And he's honestly just very behind, and that might really impact things as we go into the late game.
Nowadays, you see more Storms just kind of get that good old reliable Soul Ring before leading into the Orchid. And if you're stopping out for a BKB, then this is not going to be a good game for your Storm already. You know that you're going to be going to a lot of trouble. And in this game with so many stuns, he definitely is. I don't know his name, but it's going to be a hard one, buddy. So he's going to try to make it work. Well, there's your 4 staff. It is going to be complete. I didn't quite see who it was. I imagine for Duza, it's a support 4 staff to help against this clockwork. It's Earthshaker.
It's on Bat.
Oh, it is.
And
it's
Wind Ranger, actually.
The Bat and the Wind Ranger. So they do have plenty of options to help out. The clockwork rather makes his jump in, sets up the cogs, and you got plenty of defense right there from the side of Duza to help out. But here we go. Smoke coming out from M5. They're going to move to the other side.
Storm is not smoked, though. He's got a Ogre Club coming. The item we saw before. They might actually spot them high ground. They're going to spot Jug. This is not the hero they want. It's pretty difficult to catch him here. He can always Omni Slash or spin. So very wisely, Afterlife's like, okay, this is a little dangerous.
Nope, don't want to do that. Plus everyone else on the Duza side's missing. So even if we try to make the jump on the Jug, there's no saying that someone's going to pop around the corner. A lasso from a Bat. Quickly your line's going to be showing up.
Yeah, with the waves really pushed like this, you really don't know where they are. They very easily could be in the jungle, but they're not in the lanes and they're not showing you. You don't know where they are, so it becomes a gamble entirely. It's a little too dangerous.
Very timid play, especially around this mid lane with this Jug being out there and Bruise nearby with Split ready to go. And
he's in a good place. They could go in Jug right now with their whole team and they could easily kill him.
Yeah, here they are. They're thinking about coming in from behind.
Clock, if he can get the hook off, this is really good. There's the hook. All right, he's going to be entangled. We'll see possibly, and honestly, no, he's going to spin first. Scotty's up, but he's not in position. Looks like Shadow Fiend went to farm, maybe.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I feel like Shadow Fiend could have been there for that.
Yeah, they were in position. He was side by side with the clockwork, but I guess he wanted to farm up some gold along the way.
He hooked in, so maybe it was just a little too far. Thing.
No blink on your Shadow Fiend.
Yeah,
I mean, typically the Yules, they get the blink right after, just for situations possibly like that, or any sort of isolation plays with the Yules, but he opted to go with the Scotty first, which, hey, it's a Scotty after all, so you can't really hate on that, but you're not going to have the mobility.
Yeah, the HP that it gives you is really good. It's about 750. It's about 3/4 of a heart. Doesn't give you the regen, but you also get attack speed, you get armor out of it, you get mana pool, and of course you get the slow. And the slow is really good against Jug because Jug's stupidly fast with Phase Boots and Mask of Manus and Manta, so it'll help control him a little bit and limit his DPS outside of Omni Slash. Scotty's going to get nerfed soon, I swear. We see it built on almost any agility carry right now.
Yeah, any of these carries nowadays. Sniper, Troll, Jug,
yeah,
Shadow
they all build it. The mobility advantage it gives you is just really big. We might see a kill on Earthshaker. This could be very, very easy. It's a little scary for Storm, but he's got to get out of the Omni Slash. But it's an only 800 HP Earthshaker. His HP is really low. He's pinging it out, but he's a little scared right now. There's no gem yet. He's looking for him. He's got the Orchid. There's the hit. Whoa! I don't think he meant to break it.
Oh, God. No quick Omni reaction, but Bruce shows up, gets the split off, so it's not going to be an easy Omni target, but Flo could be in trouble. Force is there. Cyclone's up the Jug. There's going to be the finger. Uh-oh. Storm in trouble. Has to get away, but can't. The lasso's going to connect onto him. He's pulled back into the arms of Jug. Shallowgrave's going to be there. Is he able to ball away? Gets out a good distance. Meanwhile, Requiem's going to fly out from Chomi, and he wants to clean up, but the Omni Slash now comes out, mitigated between the three very nicely. Blade Mail now going to be popped. They return back onto the Jug. He tries to spin and get the hell out of there. Pops his own Manta. Very weak and wounded. Slowed. 4-step with the save. They decide to get the Yules instead onto Undershock. Bounce her back from the cogs. Nicely done. Now Silence with no mana. Jump forward. Clap. She's still good for now. Nope. There's the raise. Chomi's going to get the kill now. Killing spree for his Jug. Storm Spirit does not get caught. Lives, and they end up taking down 3 all day.
Yeah, I feel like Storm really misplayed there pretty heavily. He really should have been able to initiate on the Earthshaker and just blow him up right at the start. He might have gotten lassoed, I guess, but he misclicked. He definitely misclicked. His invis had about 15 seconds left, and he accidentally clicked on the Earthshaker. You could also tell because he did a little bit of a double bounce, and you never want to double bounce. No good player is going to double jump on purpose because it wastes some mana. So
there was definitely hesitation there.
Yeah.
You could just be like, well, that was not intentional. And
but he ended up taking a lot of disables. He took everything that line had, Hex, Earth Spike, and a Finger of Death, and he ended up surviving. And he took a lasso, actually. Great grave there by the Dazzle. It's a really good interaction, actually, is graving a Storm Spirit, because it doesn't matter how low his HP is. He can just ball halfway across the map when he gets in danger. So it's a really good interaction there, Dazzle with Storm.
Yeah.
It's like guarantees a save, essentially. Whereas on a lot of heroes, even if you do get Grave, somebody throws a damage over time ability on you, or you're slowed and you can't get away in time. So
yeah, this Dazzle, King R, also known as Renator. I call him Renator the Hater, man. He puts out some serious shallow graves this game already. Yeah. Getting that extra bit of value in life and making all of those initiations and early lockdowns on someone like a Storm useless, and then they don't have it for the big fight. So with that, it's M5 getting a good cleanup. 15-12 your score. They take over now as far as the net worth lead at about 4K XP. Almost square even, though. It seems like Duza were able to kind of bring in, because of the towers, the Roche kill, they continue to find farm across the map, even though being down as far as kills go. It feels like they could start putting a lot on the back of this Jug. I'm trying to see the potential here for this Wind Ranger to also be a big DPS unit here. It's got the Maelstrom complete plus Force, and it's trying to go for an Agnum Scepter next. It looks like Purge got the point booster already complete.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. Eggs is really good on him. You're talking about Wind Ranger, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it reduces your cooldown down to like 10 seconds or something like that, and the damage reduction becomes 0 at level 16. So whereas it used to be like 30% reduction, so we're talking about getting like a Demon Edge for the cost of an Eggs, while also increasing your attack speed because of the cooldown being so low. It's really good.
Is it warranted enough for someone like Big Num to try to get that Drunken Haze onto your Wind Ranger now?
That's actually a really good point. I've never thought about that.
I mean, Drunken Haze in this kind of game, when you got a Wind Ranger and a Jug, who all of their damage is coming out via right click. I mean, one of them now is only going to have a coin flip's chance to even connect with the hit.
Yeah, and Wind Ranger almost never buys BKB as well. Usually in the late game, you'll pick one up eventually, but not a lot of Wind Rangers will buy one, especially with the Eggs builds right now, because you have so much natural HP that you can get away with not having a BKB. In the past, before people built Eggs, you kind of needed one. Maybe like a second or third item, probably a third or a fourth. But yeah, the builds are a little changed now, so Wind Ranger can get away with it. So they're moving out.
Smoke here from Duza. They're looking to clean out and purge their woods, if you will, and see if they can scout anything. But, oh, the Roche is already back. Axmo's like, okay, don't mind if I do.
It's kind of dangerous. They've got a clock, and they have a Storm Spirit.
Oh, he already rocketed, though, to scout out the woods nearby.
He missed it. They're scared about the smoke. I think they saw that they smoked, maybe, but they don't realize that Roche is quite up yet. Bat's in position to scout out, and man, they're together, but they're not checking Roche. Here comes the rocket. He's got about 50 HP. Here comes. They're going to see it. They're going to see it.
Yep.
All right, we'll see a remnant.
It goes right overhead.
Okay, never mind. Storm just ran away. He was scared about the bat.
They already put out the weave, though, so
they saw? Okay,
yeah, Axmo's like, weave definitely gave the vision. Rocket flew over and above and ahead. Jug's like, okay, I'm losing armor. I don't want to get too comfortable being in the pit, and when they jump, I have like -5 or something like that, so he'll make do and just kind of pinch and poke, and we could see a bit of deja vu from the last Roche here. Both sides very...
Oh, he's back in.
Wants to move in. Oh, there's the Omni, Mask of Madness with
he's
the
got
grave.
a ghost. Oh, wow, look at that jump. That's actually really good for the Dire team, but they didn't want to collapse on that. Great hook shot. It's going to catch him. He's going to spin after this, but he's stuck in there. Force Staff, this is a dead Clockwork, that's for sure. Fissure's going to finish him off, but that should be it for the Jug if they can keep slowing him here. There's another poison attack. There's the raise. Gets the kill.
Oh boy. Meanwhile, back left side, they're going to get a hold of the Earthshaker. There's going to be the kill. Storm grabs that one. Oh, it's disaster for Duza. Just trying to go for the Roche. Double kill for Chomny. Next target's going to be this bat. Cyclone dump for Big Num. He goes up to the high ground. Another use fall through, and he blinks away, though, to the low ground. Flo says, see you later. But they lose 4. He's the only survivor, and because of that, Moscow5 are going to be able to beautifully segue now into this Roche pit and take the Aegis away. Big turn right now for Moscow5. The biggest boost I'd have to say of this game so far.
Yeah, that Omni Slash was not well used. He needed to check the Clockwork's items before he went for it, and a really well-timed Ghost Scepter here guarantees that the Clockwork takes no damage. And it even pulled, the jump to the SF was actually great because it pulled him more out of position and forced him to be in such a terrible position there during the fight. Like, rough. I think the main issue coming out of the Radiant team, though, is that line still doesn't have a Blink Dagger. It's 32 minutes in. He's been trying to fight. Like, even the Earthshaker's Blink Dagger was quite delayed. And I feel like their draft is fantastic. They have so many good stuns. They can initiate amazing. They've got a Bat Rider so they can pull people out of position. but because of their lack of mobility that they should have from blinks, the initiations become tough. They can't just jump in and stun the Storm Spirit right away and blow them up because everybody's a bit limited. It's just, I don't know. It's not even like Moscow5 has an axe or something. It's just the Radiant team's playing really safe here, and they haven't quite gotten the lassos off yet.
Their only way of getting in there is like using smokes, but they have to preserve some of the smokes for going on Roche early and trying to sneak into Roche and get it done, and it just feels a bit awkward right now, and they need to prioritize some farm on these supports. Meanwhile, a trade happening between the Jug and Afterlife here. His BKB was popped and used, and he's going to have to walk away. That was the first use of his BKB.
Yeah. Completely worth it there for the clock. He didn't really feel threat of dying. He could always use the Ghost Scepter, and he's got a lot of armor. So he just scared the Jug away, forced him to think that something scary was happening, and that resulted in a 10-second BKB wasted. So little plays like that really add up over the course of the game. It's going to make Storm easier to kill Jug in the future.
When you compare now and you talk about the lack of farm built up on Duza and their supports, just look at the farm though on Moscow5. Even their Dazzle, who's supposed to be like a hard 5 in this kind of game, has a 4-staff, but jump forward from Storm, and it does get out the spin there from Jug, and now they're going to open up on this tier 2. But even, you know, your quote 4-position Brew, I mean, he's got his blink. He's looking to throw together an Ags even. He's only one component away, about 700 gold. And, well, here we go. Fissure high ground. They're going to get the grab onto that Brew, pull him back. Do they have the damage and focus? They don't. He has split. Can he get it off? They can't. Omni is enough to burst him down. He drops. Storm moves in, pops his BKB, and gets the hell out. And here goes Wind Ranger. Right clicks to fly as they latch on the Chami. They do have the Aegis here. Can they get him down the second time? I think they will. They're trying to scurry back this Dazzle so we can't get close for any sort of grave or help, and Chami will go down that second time. So Duza do get the return fire here.
Oh, man, another kill as well.
Oh, good Shackle from Undershock, jumping up and ahead and gets the catch onto Dazzle. Make it 3 all day. 16-9, your new score. Duza, though, take a nice chunk of change off of that and move into like nearly a 4K gold swing for themselves.
Yeah, that's how their team fights are supposed to go. They did it really well there. The lasso on a squishy-ish target, and they were able to use Echo Slam to permastun the Brewmaster, finish him off. The one here that didn't do anything was the Line, and again, that's because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He's going to be the target of Storm every fight. He's got 800 HP and no escape, so if Storm wants to go on him, he's going to have to just try to stay alive. And his wand barely saved him there. Gets him up to 400 gold. I really feel like the Earthshakers should start buying wards and stuff like that, because this guy needs a blink, otherwise he's not really useful. He can't use his ulti, he can't use his Earth Spike, he's just at threat of dying to Storm by himself.
It's rough. It's a rough life right now for this Lion. Being so weak and flimsy and without having the mobility factor, he's just going to be an easy target. Storm could easily take him out and then kind of proceed with the remainder of the fight from that point. So taking over the ward game, hopefully here, would be your Earthshaker after already grabbing his blink, but he's already got 1k saved up, maybe just pushing forward, getting a secondary 4-staff, or a third 4-staff rather for his team. Flow takes flight here. Nearby Storm kind of eyeballing the area. If he can find an opportunity to possibly jump in. He's got 1,200 gold saved up after already completing. It looks like he's going to be going for the soul booster and get a hold of that Bloodstone next. 36 minutes in though, and things are looking pretty promising here. Still for Moscow5, but hey, Duza with that fight, you really never know at this point.
It's honestly in a position in the game where both teams can definitely win. Shadow Fiend's really farmed though. He's got 3,000 gold past his Manta. We actually haven't seen that many Mantas recently out of Shadow Fiend. But
mid lane, they make a jump on the Limbo. Orchid's there. BKB already preemptively pop. Flow trying to get a hold of him. Does do so.
Big
lassos before the ball lightning to get away. Good snag right there from Flow on his Batrider. They get the kill and they punish the Storm Spirit.
Flow's been playing really well this game. Look at his KDA 5-0 and 8 as an offlane versus a tri-lane. Like, a lot of that was good ganks from the supports to set things up, but he hasn't died yet, man. He's got a gem as well.
Yules too, man.
The Yules really helps as well. You can set up disable people that are about to ult, or disable. Look, you can use this guy and maybe set up a kill. My favorite is the Yules into Flame Break to push him towards your team.
Well, I was going to say like this, but he didn't do the Flame Break, so
I wouldn't have done that much. They didn't want to go on it. They're actually going to catch a Clockwork on the other side of the map, though.
Clockwork in the wrong neighborhood. Caught from behind, taken down, and suddenly Duza are like, okay, well, we'll take that. And they're going to move to their next objective. This bottom tier 2 tower is already very low. More gold on the map, just free for the taking here for Duza to come back into this game. At what point after the last Roche takedown felt like Moscow5 way up and ahead. Duza quickly take this game right back over.
Yeah, it was that big team fight on the mid tower. Eggs is finished on Wind Ranger though, so now her damage is insane. It's a 15-second cooldown on her ulti. She's going to be using that on Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend does have a slight item advantage here. He's going for Butterfly next, which is really synergistic with all these stat items and the Manta that he's gotten. And then he's going to have 35% evasion, which means that Wind Ranger's damage goes down to about what it was. We might see a lasso. There's the Fissure start things off. He's gonna... Whoa, that lasso was a little bit late, but they're going to be able to pull him back just in time. Shackle lineup. There's no trees. He broke all the trees, so no stun on Chami.
Oh, bummer. Not going to be happening. Plus, Dazzle was still there just in case with a shallow grave. That kill is not happening. They quickly hit the eject button and get the hell out of there. So, without the follow-through lockdown, I mean, Lion already committed to going to the top lane to finish that Blink Dagger out. You know, it wouldn't be as easy to lock down that poor little Shadow Fiend. But he's at 1,1600 gold now on your Lion, so his Blink should be here very, very soon. And, well, that's a benefit to getting all those extra towers in the mid and then bottom lane. So
he could really use another item though. A Force or a Blink would be really good here. Earthshaker finished his. I'm sorry, a Force or a Ghost is what I meant. A Ghost on Earthshaker is going to save you against the Storm Spirit. It's one of the best items against Storm because he balls on you, he Orchids you. You can't really get away from him, but if you just use your Ghost Scepter, it stops almost all the damage that Storm can do to you. So Earthshaker is going to be really safe from here on out. It's even really good against Shadow Fiend, for example. The only thing they have to worry about now is Clockwork Hooks. They kind of need all the 3 support items, Blink, Force, and Ghost, to be covered against all bases in this game.
It's funny because, like, your initial impression when you get a Ghost against a Storm is like, well, wait a minute, it's a Storm.
He does magic damage.
Magic, right? Well, he can't do the magic unless he right-clicks you to get it out there. So
the best is Ghost Sceptering as he pulls you. It is the biggest waste to a Storm because the Electric Vortex cooldown is 18 seconds. It's massive. So
at the point you're just walking away.
Yeah, he Orchids you, he pulls you, and he's like, wow, I could have killed anybody else with these spells. It's such a good counter against Storm. So the Earthshaker should be in a good spot, and he's been positioning pretty well. So I think they'll be okay. We actually see the Dire team smoking up as 5. They're going to be moving through the Radiant jungle, but the Radiant jungle is positioned towards the enemy's top lane. So a little bit of a wasted smoke for the Dire team. It's almost gone already, so they're not going to be able to find any kills with this.
They already see like 2-3 members of the Duza squad top lane. They're like, okay, this smoke ain't happening. They rotate some people to the top to stop the early push towards this tower, but Duza are not falling back right yet. They're going to let Jug lead out the charge here, and then they have Bat as the follow-up, and there's that focus fire, and that tower quickly gets taken down. Glyph is going to be used to slow it down a bit, but do Duza keep pushing here?
I think they can. I mean, they've got the Bat Rider. They have a Blink on Earthshaker, so Earthshaker's going to be strong. Line still doesn't have Blink, but if he stays alive for 1 or 2 assist kills, he's going to have his Blink. So he's got to be really careful here. Sit way in the back, watch for where the Storm goes in, and then try to counter shade. There's the ball in. He's going to pop BKB. He's going for the line next. No, Earthshaker's going to be the target. Doesn't Ghost in time. Might have to Ghost. Is going to go down. Chain stunned all the way, and now the Radiant team is on the retreat.
They got to get the hell out. Here comes M5. They're looking to take this game back. Chomi leads in. They're going to get the Yules onto the Wind Ranger here. Undershock desperate to run. Pulls out the Wind Run to get the way to the high ground here. Will be fine, makes it out, and well, it looks like for now they only managed to grab a hold of 2, taking down both supports, but there's Undershock getting slowed down. Does manage to dodge the raise as the force up, but nope, not going to be making it out. That last second connection with the crit from your brew finishes him off. It ends up being a 3-man takedown all day. And about a 2K plus gold swing back the other way towards Moscow5. So we question whether or not Duza are going to be able to push, but hey, Moscow5, they put up a strong defense, and leading it in with that Storm, it seemed to really catch Duza out of position.
Yeah, he did a great job there. That's if you do get a BKB, you have to get a kill out of it in those first couple seconds. We can maybe criticize the Bat Rider for not lassoing him. That's the only solution to stopping Storm while he does go in. But he was able to get a kill on the Earthshaker, and the Earthshaker got chain stunned multiple times there, and he wasn't able to use his Ghost Scepter in time. I think he was maybe expecting the Storm to go on the line instead, but Earthshaker was far bigger threat there, and that was good, what's the best way to say this? Best analyzation from the Storm Spirit, because line didn't have Blink, Earthshaker does. If you shut him down, then you're turning into a 5v3, and then the fight was over. Might see an initiation.
Both teams have scouted out. Roche is up. M5 no, Wind Ranger's down, but there's Bat Rider, one of the best anti-Rochers in the game. Gets the pull on the Big Num all the way to the other side. Big Num going to be walking away. Still needs 20 seconds for the split. That's fine. It's a bit of a pickle, but it doesn't stop them from getting the Roche done. They do it. Cheese is still down there. They're waiting for Storm to get to the low ground to grab it and get the mana, but meanwhile, the hookshot's going to connect on the Flow. Self-Yules. Earth Spike connects on the Afterlife, and the Fissure on the Chami from the low ground. So this allows Flow to make his escape. Getting another 4-staff, bit of a boost right there to walk away. Cheese is going to be picked up from your Storm.
Oh, what's Jug doing up here?
And Jug's on the high ground.
Did he get
the flame break? Maybe.
Oh, there's the high ground.
Omni to the low ground. See you later, Dazzle. See you later, Storm Spirit. Whoa. Duza, real quick. Emphatic kills right there, taking out Moscow5. Even though they were able to successfully take down the Roche, they walk away with what winnings they're left with. Show me better be careful here. Yeah. Oh, whoa! Fissure connects. There's the split. Limbo's like, uh-oh, maybe I went too far. He goes down.
Oh, he lifts Cyclone's a ranged creep, unfortunately. That's been there for 20 seconds.
That's a bit awkward. Jug slowed down from the Scotty. Chami looking to go right on through. Still has the Aegis, so confident as ever. And this Jug is going to be slowed regardless of spin. I don't know if he's going to make it away, but no, good shackle. And going to go through. Could he take down the Aegis here? Show me. Going to be in trouble. There's going to be the Earth Spike connection. Big Num tries to go into the face of Undershock, but that's the Drunken Haze having a hard time getting those right clicks in there. Aegis will be popped. Meanwhile, they get the blast on the line. He goes down. Big Num and Undershock go toe-to-toe, but Big Num, this is not going to be a fight you can win without some help. And here comes Chomi from the back life. No. Brew goes down. Undershock forced away. Goes into the run. Bottled up. Chomi right-click going to connect and take down that Wind Ranger, making it a 3-for-2 trade, at least for now. Flo gets the Yules onto Shadow Fiend and says, see you later. He's able to blink away to safety.
Man, that fight was so close there. Really good fight by M5. They cleaned up just in time. The Wind Ranger tried so hard to score those kills, but his DPS is really crappy when you're missing 65-75% of the hits. The Drunken Brawler, or the Drunken Haze did a lot in that fight. And look at this, Brewmaster even has an Ags now. It's 43 minutes, this guy's playing support, and now he's doing just as much as a core Brewmaster would be when he splits. And it's a lot of damage once you get Ags, because then you can do a Thunderclap, you can Blink Clap, Ulti Clap with a stun. That's like 700 magic damage plus physical on top of that. It actually becomes really serious, especially against squishy support heroes. They are like the bane, or at least they really hate playing against a Brewmaster when they're playing support.
It's like, just
Earthshaker line just sucks. He just splits and goes on you, and you can't do anything about it.
Like they're trying to wait in the back lines to help out their cores, and Brew's like, pardon me, everyone, I'm gonna go to the back where your supports are with these 3 bears, and there's not much you could do about it. And meanwhile, I'll cyclone up your core on the way in there, whatever I got to do to get the job done. And you really have your hands full when you're just trying to get yourself in a good position to help out in these fights. But here we go, Flo. High ground, goes down, gets the lasso grab with the gem. They can see the
great hook shot.
Yeah, he goes right in the middle, disperses the action, gets a hold of both of them, but he's going to be the sacrifice. Fissure, no, Storm goes down, jumping back in. Axmo with the double. Limbo, can he make it out in a way? Great latch on the Chomi. Chomi now, oh man, jumps in, Echo Slam. Chomi gonna get knocked back, dishes out the Requiem, gets it done, but not enough damage onto Axmo. He's got to get the hell out of there. This Earthshaker, though, keeps him in check, locks him in place. Grave is gonna save him. Another good Grave coming out from Mr. King R, and now Chomi still lives, walks away, Undershock, power shot, not gonna connect Manta, goes up to the north ground to get away from this one, goes to the left, gets the kill, nicely done. Earthshaker sweats for that one and gets the big payoff. Man, he put in a lot of mileage in that fight.
He really did. I thought he was just going to get one shot there by the SF. The illusions actually almost got him. No shackle on Dazzle, and he's just going to TP. Will he see a Fissure? There's the Fissure. That's guaranteed.
Fissure, Flame Break, a lot of hate. And whoops, see you later.
Did you see how much work that Butterfly did in that fight? That was amazing. Like, Shadow Fiend was actually stunned for at least 10 seconds there, and he just wouldn't die. Maybe could he Yulesed at the end. I'm not sure if he had cooldown or not. But
it's like, it's not even just Butterfly. I'm not sure if he had it on that particular fight, but if Drunken Haze is again on Undershock, that and Butterfly, you're never connecting. You're never connecting, not unless you got that MKB ready to go.
I think he's building a BKB next. I saw him building an Ogre Club. It is a BKB, but we have 2 Javelins on the Jug, so Jug's getting very close to MKB as well. Maybe a little bit long overdue, I would say, because they should have anticipated maybe that Shadow Fiend was an item ahead, was getting Butterfly, but in the same vein, this Abyssal and Juggernaut just has done a lot of work. It guarantees kills on Storm Spirit and things like that. It's actually one of the best late-game Jug items because it gives you a way to disable your opponents when you're Omni-slashing, whether through Bash or through the guaranteed Abyssal that you can use while you're Omniing. So that's 2 seconds of stun. That's like 4 or 5 slashes or something like that. You can definitely kill cores, and that's what we saw in the last fight. Storm Spirit was like, oh, I'm going to kill this Jug. But he was already Omni-slashing, and then he just eat a little bit extra
That was such
damage.
An unfortunate re-engagement for him, and that's where Earthshaker really helped him with the work.
He's had a rough game. Hasn't been playing the best.
He had a cheese and everything, and he couldn't even get it off.
Did he?
Yeah, he just jumps in and just gets like
maybe that's why
put
he
in
did
place.
That's probably what he was doing. He was probably like, oh, I'll tank the damage, I'm going to pop cheese. But then he got bashed.
He should have maybe should have considered eating that snack before he jumped back in, though.
Yeah, the greedy play would be take 2 Omni Slashes, have 50 HP, pop the cheese, win the fight, and it just didn't work out like that. I'm sure that's what he was doing. There's no way that he'd be like He was omni-slashing for quite a long time before he balled back in. You know, like half a second at least, like a noticeable amount of time.
He's been trying to complete this Bloodstone for what feels like quite a while,
yeah,
too. He's like constantly stuck with just the one component being away.
The good part, though, is that the cores that are on the Radiant team are not that strong into the late game. Like, they're obviously Batrider is fantastic at disabling, but in terms of DPS, you've got a Jug who is a melee hero, very dangerous melee hero. You've got Wind Ranger who's gone for a lot of utility-ish items like eggs, Black King Bar, Force Staff. Like, they're items that Wind Ranger needs, but they don't make her a huge threat unless she's focus firing you. So if she's not focus firing, Wind Ranger isn't that scary, and that means that if the game can continue, Storm can get his 4th and 5th and 6th item, and then eventually be dangerous enough that he can deal with one of these cores no problem by himself. So I think the game is easily still within control for M5, as it's still within the control of the Radiant team. It's just...
a very close game. Just look at the net worth graph. We're still back square even again. XP's been floating around the near even mark. This is one of the biggest advantages it's been for Duza, which is not even at the 5K mark yet, whereas 46 minutes in most of these games, by now you're expecting one of these teams to have like a 10K plus net worth lead. This one's been very back and forth from both sides, and a lot of props to the supports on both sides because of that. We saw Earthshaker putting in the work there. This Dazzle's been dishing out continuous shallow graves to prolong these fights for his cores, lead-ins and sacrificial jumps from your Clockwork. You know, we gotta make sure we give props to those unsung heroes, us support players, me, you. You know, we never get enough love. All these flashy Sumails, jump-ins, and Storms, and Shadow Fiends. They think that they get all the work, but you gotta have that back staff, that tech crew that kind of gets the lights up and the curtain down to, you know, have the show happen here. But looks like we're gonna have a bit of a pause, you know, little hiccups that we've been expecting all throughout the day. If you're just tuning in, it's game number 1 of a best of 3 series. It's not BGGG. It is Team Duza taking on the Moscow5 group. And whatever team goes down, they still have a chance to kind of come back in this best of 3. Our next matchup today is going to be Team Secret taking on the London Conspiracy Group. Should be a good one. That's going to be happening as our next best of 3 after this one concludes, but looks like we're back underway. Purge, 46 minutes in, 25-26. Very close game. It's got to be the closest game I've seen so far this Start Ladder season.
Line still doesn't have a Blink Dagger. It's got 1,800 gold.
What? He had that top lane for so long. I was saying, okay, 1,700 gold. He'll have it any moment.
But the thing you have to fear is that a solo Clockwork or a solo Storm Spirit can easily solo kill you. And even Brewmaster could if you wanted to use his ultimate for it. That's the dangerous part in being blink listed this late in the game. Just if Storm's anywhere halfway close to you on the map and he thinks you're solo, you're dead. There's nothing you can do about it. You just die.
So you're kind of in the dark. There's so many spots you can farm, and the Jug's like, listen, kid, this is my farm. You're not getting it, all right? You're like, please, I just 100 gold from Blink.
So
I just 100
bad.
gold. And he's like, nah, sorry, I'm the Jug.
He's so behind at this point. What is his net worth? I'm scared to look.
It's 3,000. It's not the lowest, believe it or not.
That's mostly gold sitting in his inventory. He's got a wand and a tranquil boots.
How does he have more net worth than Dazzle, who at least has a Force Staff? And at one point, he had about 1,400 gold. He must have died a couple of times since then.
Because Lion has all that gold sitting in his just waiting to die.
Offshore account, you know.
Exactly. That's essentially a Force Staff. It's almost a Force Staff, and Dazzle doesn't have a wand. I believe this is not his bottle. It is not. This is a charity bottle from the mid. He's like, you know what? I don't need this 300 gold. It's actually pretty good to give to your supports.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
If you're talking about a late game support hero, if you've got an urn, for example, you've got a lot of like keep your team alive going into the late game. But if you're a support, sometimes like the difference between living could be 50 HP. It's essentially he's given his ally more than a bracer. Every bottle charges a bracer of HP. So if you can use those throughout a team fight, I mean, you're talking about a big help. And he doesn't even have mana regen, so.
Or you're bottling up runes that you can actually hand off too.
I mean, there's on a support or
double damage that could end the game. It's just crazy.
That Dazzle DPS, man, you got to watch out.
You never know. Or the invisible to set things up, but an illusion to bait out, a finger or a lasso. Yeah, you never know.
It's all viable. It's definitely better to give it to the support than it is for the core to sell it, especially when he's this close to 6 slotted.
Yeah.
He sells Midas and he's there. And what does he get? What do you think?
For
last item on SF.
Last item on SF to round things out. I'm not seeing a butterfly near at all.
Lifesteal.
Yeah, Satanic
would not be
maybe.
Bad. Satanic I think would be really good here. Gives you 5 armor, gives you another 500 HP. He already does really good damage. It's not amazing. It's either he goes Satanic to have regen or he grabs a crit to do a well, you know what he really needs? Probably MKB. because if Jug picks up a butterfly,
Yeah,
he's
obviously I
gonna
was
have
looking, but
bad
no one
time.
has even a starting component, and they gotta consider saving buyback. It'll be a while before a butterfly would come together.
And there is a Windrunner.
That's true. That is
Wind
true.
Ranger, that is. So I think he has to go MKB here. As much as he'd probably like to get Daedalus. Daedalus does far more damage and it's physical, whereas MKB has magic components. But you kind of need that True Strike against the Wind Ranger. I mean, think if he could just go on the Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger's armor is really low. Actually, it's only 8, and it's going to be reduced by 6 due to the Shadow Fiend. So he could actually just, like, 5-shot this guy, maybe, if he gets an MKB here. Wind Ranger's got to be really careful.
Storm's also flirting with danger in the bottom lane. Was able to easily ball lightning away here. Just a bit of flirting happening from both sides. But yeah, and then you also have to factor in, of course, this Wind Ranger's probably had a bit of a headache because of these drunken haze and butterflies going against. So when you even get into that man fight period, you might not be able to connect a lot onto a Wind Ranger who's trying to run away. But if she's ever trying to man fight, that's where she can run into a bit of a jam. But she does have that BKB now, and it's a full 10 seconds. And at this late into the game, having a 10-second BKB, that's pretty nice. So
Yeah.
she's going to look to put it to strong use here. 2K also saved up on top of that. What do you think that her next item could be? Is she going to continue into the damage realm?
She might need MKB as well. She's gotten enough defensive items with both Force and the Black King Bar. I feel like she needs an MKB. That way she can do reliable damage against the SF. Like, SF is just in a really good spot right now in terms of items. He's got Butterfly, he's got a lot of HP, he's got Boots of Travel, he's got a lot of gold on top of that. He can do whatever he wants. I think she has to get an MKB
Even against
here.
Brew.
Against Brew as well.
Yeah.
If BKB runs out and you get hazed, your hero's worthless. It's actually worthless if you're missing 75% of the time. You've only built DPS items.
So MKB seems to be the smart grab for a potential next item on Wind Ranger, but gotta always consider the buyback.
Brew's really farmed too. He's got his the Glory Vlads. The only thing he's really missing is maybe a Necro 3 or an AC.
AC,
That's the only thing that could make him stronger.
AC, because you get all that sweet extra minus armor on top of Shadow Fiend.
During ulti, that is. I mean, he could still grab a BKB to guarantee he doesn't get stunned, or he could grab an Abyssal Blade or something ridiculous like that. Mjolnir even.
The world is his oyster.
There's a couple items. The old TP Skull Graveyard and the Roshan Pit. Just drop on a Remnant. That'll give vision over there for about 12
Make sure
seconds.
we keep garbage in his pit. Just, you know. Make sure when he comes back that not only do we immediately beat his ass once coming back, that we just trash up his place first as well. And the charity TP. You know how many times I've been a support and I'm like, I really should have a TP. Let me just check the Roche pit. Oh, free TPs. I'll take one of those.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll drop 2 TPs, then I'll go back later and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about these. This is actually
2 for 1 special.
I just made 100 gold, guys, by picking these up. It's like farming room.
Oh, jump on the Undershock. Long Vortex pull. Follow up, though, is going to be Weck there with the stun lockdown in limbo. Maybe a bait turnaround here, and they get it. He is going to be able to go down. Bloodstone, though, 40 seconds, still dead for your Storm. They get the Cyclone up to Earth, but it's a man fight breaking out now. Chomi trying to isolate, and it's going to be quick return here for the Jug. After popping BKB, he wants to get the hell out of there. Bruce still split.
Trouble.
Cyclone up onto the Earthshaker to keep him, I guess,
the
sidestep
Jukes.
for now.
Will he
but
get Cyclone? Oh, no Cyclone. It's on cooldown, and he's going to dodge the rock.
Oh,
they're going back in on the SF.
In. Limbo gets in, stun connects, now jump, lasso does connect onto Afterlife, pulls him back and through. Chomi lives and gets out, barely alive. No, he does not. Caught in place, taken down. Afterlife going to be chopped down next from your Juv. Axmo, oh, the Ghost Scepter, keeps him alive temporarily.
How
but
did
that's
they
not
win
gonna
that
matter. But
fight?
my God, they turned it around. After a good lead and charge from Storm Spirit, the right click started coming out, but they just quickly turned it back. Good heads up play again from Limbo and the Earthshaker just to go right back in. Sets things up, and
man, they didn't even have their whole team during the start of that fight. I was like, oh, this fight's over. They have a hero top, they have a hero mid. They did have Boots of Travel, but the delayed engagement made things so different. But you know what really changed things? Lion Blink Dagger, baby.
Yep.
That was Lion. Do you know what Lion has to do?
you see, guys? You see what happens when I get Blink Dagger? Just let me farm it a bit sooner.
He's not a bad player. It's just been a really rough game. He had a really good early game, but then just getting the Blink was so tough. But look what happened in that fight. Storm just blew up. He didn't BKB in time because it's 5 seconds, so he's trying to save as much as he could. But the Blink Hex, Finger of Death, got a lot of value. And then Lion exited the fight, and then he re-engaged again and did chain stun on SF as well. Like, the Blink makes such a big difference. And now he's got a Charity Mask of Madness. Just look at him, man. He's going places.
He's like getting there. Now everyone's like, hey, listen, you're actually putting in work. Please take these gifts. Take these treats.
Please carry me as a support. Yeah. He's got 900 gold. He'll get he'll get a either a Force or a Ghost Scepter next. Probably the Ghost because it gives HP while covering you from some of that physical damage.
Maybe some wards.
Maybe he'll even buy a ward.
I mean, that's skill. I don't know. I've seen a lot of Dota 2 games in my days, Purge, but a ward.
Oh, he gets a shackle.
Oh.
This could be a kill. It's going to be really close. Nope. Power shot.
That was on his jimmies.
I don't think that would have killed him. After reduction, it was going to be awfully close. Flame break doesn't get him either.
Wow. But the
really
dramatic
good
effect,
attempt, though.
Really added to it right there. Made it work, but my oh my. Very touch and go from both sides. And Storm, after that last engagement bottom, quickly gets a taste of reality like, okay, maybe I can't just jump in and get away with what I did before. This Weck Blink Dagger Lion is the true dark horse of this Duza squad to be able to bring the game back, and now they parade up this top lane. And quickly back the other way we go. It's Duza taking control. The net worth still not that big. Not even 2,500 gold in the favor of Duza at this point. Just to show how close and tense this game has been. But my god, look at the accelerated XP gain suddenly for Duza. Over 10k on their side as they get ready to go towards the high ground. Tickling this tier 3 tower. Let's see what kind of defense M5 can do. Long jump forward. BKB's already popped. He sees Limbo. Limbo, though, goes to the high ground. Makes him work for it. Meanwhile, they get the catch onto Afterlife. Afterlife gets Weck. Takes Weck down.
Big Fissure.
And Big Fissure. Omni Slash in the mix of everything. They're trying to make it go into Storm. Storm graved up, though. Is able to walk away. Requiem is going to be flying out, but no one goes down. Only the Lion. Big jump catches 3 with the hook shot. Echo Slam goes down, but the damage has been done. Duza begin to hit the deck one by one. Cleanup comes through from Chomi. Yules is going to be catching temporarily on the Jug, and here's Storm back from before, and it's a 4-man takedown. Flow, the only survivor, M5. They defend, and they will keep this game happening here. Boots of Travel to the bottom here.
This could be a Raxter. There is going to be buyback on the
Jug
Juggernaut.
and Wind Ranger.
And he's going to have to force that out. It's not terrible for him because he's almost 6 slot as well. The only thing he's missing is the Eagle Song for the Butterfly. And the other thing I want to point out is that SF went for an AC here. He didn't go for an MKB, so this is going to hurt him. It helps him right now, but as soon as that Butterfly is finished on Jug, he's going to be having some trouble because he opted for the physical resistance item that gives his team armor. So it'll be good for doing DPS, but not against evasion targets. So it's an interesting item that's going to make him strong now, but once the Butterfly finishes, he's going to have a rough time. He may have to end up selling something.
I wonder why they didn't just have the Brew do the AC. I mean, he's got 3,700 gold, but hold that thought, though. Jump in on the Storm. They get the pullback onto him, but Grave is going to be there just in case. And he gets the force anyways. So Stazzle's on that one, as he's been most of the game. Nope, move forward. Storm looking to re-engage, gets a quick kill. Lion's out. Nope, no buyback. He's out for a minute. Limbo, though, pops his ghost, moves forward, gets the lockdown on the Storm. Can they take him out? They can't. He's too slippery, or is he? Jump forward, flame break to be dodged. Power shot connects, but he still makes it away. 40 life. Skims out from that one. Now Shadow Fiend moves onto the high ground to kind of engage. Axmill very low, chops his way out from the cogs, but can he make it out? He can't. He's out. Purge, 100 seconds, no buyback. Flow barely alive.
Great Hex. Oh, this could be Shadow Fiend.
But the Hex return. Grave saves him, turns back, right clicks. Limbo gets the stun.
Oh my god.
And he is low.
Oh, the rocket gets him.
Gets connected, 250 life. King R right behind him here. And they're barely.
Suicide, or he's going to run. Power shot, and misses. Okay. Could still chase him. He doesn't have a lot of escape. It's basically a hook shot in 5 seconds. Can he dodge it? No, he's going to give up.
On,
no, wait,
he can go for it. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second.
Oh!
Got him!
What did he hook to? I think he hooked to a rune or something.
Oh, and the gem as a pickup. What a sweet
Who's going to win
treat.
this game? I don't even know, man. This game is insane. They didn't even get a Rax there.
Oh, my God.
All right, that did cost Jug dieback, but because he's got buyback cooldown, he can just buy Butterfly as soon as he respawns. Man, I just want to point out this Earthshaker has been playing amazing.
Oh my god, him and Dazzle. It's like Dazzle for M5 and Earthshaker for Duza.
The not dying to the Storm Spirit game, like Earthshaker's really good at it. He makes him waste all of his BKB in like 3/4 to full mana just chasing after him. And that is such a big advantage because it just really limits the carry potential that Storm can dish out. And he still doesn't have any new items past his Bloodstone. Just Boots of Travel in addition to his Power Treads, which he used in the last fight to buy back, or a couple fights ago. He hasn't even used it recently. I don't like the Boots of Travel purchase here. That's 2.5 gold. I could have been starting a sheep or something like that.
Yeah, the sheep. It just feels like
if he had a Hex and he went on the Earthshaker just dies.
Maybe they just feel like it's one of these kind of games that clearly both sides have strong defense and that they can hold their own, and that they hope that maybe if they get that big wipe after they already use buybacks, they could just TP to the other side and get the job done, because it's proven to be a long one at this point.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time to travel otherwise to the other side, then you risk them being back, and just the way both these teams have been just fighting tooth and nail to make sure they can hold on as much as possible, yet either side to take any damage inside the base, as we're nearly 60 minutes into this game.
It doesn't even feel like it. This is just a great game.
It's been a good game, and we've had pauses even that kind of make the game feel even longer, but this is just one hell of an opener, at least for us. Not the first series that's happened today. Already Moscow5 had a bit of a warm-up, I believe, earlier going against LC, but this has been quite the bitter battle between both, and just can't help but give enough props to these supports. It just feels like even Earthshaker just times out all of his stuns so that just gets the most bang for his buck too. So when the Storm jumps in and gets caught, he just locks him in place long as possible so Jug can get in those right clicks, everyone can bring out the damage. And
we still haven't had a Batrider death yet.
Jesus
Can
Christ,
you believe that one?
6-0 and 14. He's been involved with 20 of the 30 kills.
Look at his items. He has a Hex. It's 57 minutes. He's close to a next item. I'm going to say Refresher Orb.
Yo, yeah.
Sell the Yules or drop the gem. Get a Refresher that gives you 2 Hexes. That's like a 5,000 gold value right there in a team
fight. He doesn't have BKB. He's been doing this without the extra bit of survivability.
I really don't think he needs it this game. It doesn't stop Scotty from slowing you, so it doesn't really affect Shadow Fiend that much. You can Yules him, but he's been getting good ultis off regardless. You have to worry about Clock a little bit, but his ulti can still stun you, and then from there you're dealing with Storm, but Storm's always going to go on either the Lion or the Earthshaker unless Bat's stupidly out of position, and then he's got Poison Touch and Brew Disable. So the best thing Brew could probably do is Cyclone the Batrider continuously to keep him in the air so he can't do anything, but I'm sure it's tough with the amount of mobility that Bat has. He basically doesn't have to worry about disables, and he can kind of do whatever he wants in terms of lassos, so I think a Refresher would do a lot. Maybe even a Shiva's wouldn't be terrible, but I think Refresher is going to be the item, definitely, because 2 Hexes and 2 lassos and 2 Blinks and 2 Forces is just...
The Refresher or Batrider. I always call it the Demon Special. I think he's one of the first. I mean, he was like one of the first I personally saw do something like that. And
more like one of the first players that ever built Refresher Orbs. Because for a very, very long time, guys, Refresher was never built.
Oh, no.
Ever. People didn't play Tide that much competitively, and even if they did, they were like, I'm going to buy Mech, and then I'm going to buy Pipe, and then I'm going to get a Blink, and maybe a Shiva's. They would never consider Refresher, which is kind of crazy thinking about it now. Cause like double Ravage.
It's all the items as well too. I mean, you get. I've even seen from time to time cores will pick up like 6 or 7 slotted Refresher Orbs just so they can get an extra BKB. At that point, they probably used up all their seconds, their 5-second BKBs, but then they quickly turn back into 10-second BKBs because of it, or you get your second Abyssal Blade or something like that, and it's like a big potential turnaround. So I'm definitely all for the very luxurious Refresher Orb pickup if you're in that kind of a situation, and Batrider certainly seems to be without even taking a death yet. Could be a bit of a bounty though if Moscow5 do manage to get a hold of him, but 3,500 gold saved up. We'll have to see where we go, but this is a little bit of a pause right here. You want to make sure both teams are accounted for and ready. And Purge, I want to ask you, because I was looking over the Star Ladder setup. They've done something a bit different, obviously, this season than they've done all the other seasons. They've changed the format, if you've noticed, and you being a pro/former pro, but this time, as opposed to all the other seasons, they're doing this 4-team, 4-group setup. So we've been watching a lot of Group A with Secret, London Conspiracy, Moscow5, and Duza Gaming, but they have 3 other groups, and they just take the top 2 from each of these groups and move them into another 2-group setup on stage 2, and then the top 2 from those groups go to the LAN finals.
I think that's kind of interesting, because the way that would happen in the past, there were so many teams in Star Ladder that usually the bottom 2 would disband or go away, and then they'd have to still play their games. So this way they can get the lower skilled group or the lower skilled teams out of the groups instantly, and then you see the big players match up. So you still see a little bit of good super top tier teams like Team Secret sprinkled in with some other games, and then you can quickly move on to the better games. So without maybe getting them out of the way right away. So it kind of makes it feel more like an elimination bracket. Makes the games feel like they matter more. Like if Secret goes 4-0 in their first group or something like that, it doesn't matter for the following games. But if Secret was like 4-0 and everybody else is like 3-1, you're like, oh, I don't care about Secret games anymore. It doesn't matter who they play. I feel like this would give more hype to the later stages of the games, because once they get to the next group, their previous wins doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. So. Yeah.
And of course, this is a specialty for the Europe division. Star Ladder, of course, they will have their qualifiers in the other regions as well. America, they got the 2-group special right here. I don't know if you had the chance to watch much of it quite yet. It looks like Void Boys, though, of all the teams, currently 3-0 in Group A. Wheel right behind him at 2-1.
Man, he hugs 0-3.
E-Hug though, 0-3. God, it's such a shit. I love my NA Dota. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they are just so hot and cold, Purge. It's unbelievable. One day, E-Hug, they're qualifying for Malaysia. They make it through and go all the way to the land. I heard recently, though, they might actually have to pull out from that. But they're, like, showing a lot of potential. They had a stand-in in both Trouf and Yawar. Yawar's like that new prodigy next to Sumail. But Void Boys as well. Pat Soul, man. The Pat Soul hype. From one of the most mysterious players I've ever heard of. He's been able to get things done for this Void Boys group.
It's fun to see a lot of the new teams coming into the fold. In the last 2 years, I would say a lot of the top teams are essentially all top pros that made whatever team that they could, essentially. And especially like last TI, we saw a lot of people make teams just to anticipate the qualifiers, just throw together whatever they could, and they would still qualify because they're so talented. But it seems like lately that doesn't work anymore.
Oh, no, it does not.
Like, it doesn't. You can't just be like the old-time pros that have gone to all the TIs. You have to have really good team chemistry because everybody's mechanics have gotten so high now that they're just as good as you are in a lot of cases. And even if they aren't, it still takes way more than just slightly better mechanics to win a Dota game. You have to have the synergy, you have to have the drafting, and you have to gank and teamwork correctly. So, and especially with the meta changing as well, maybe that brings new ideas in since they're newer plays or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure why all of these new teams are winning, other than I guess they're just better. They're winning more Dota games. They're playing better Dota. They're not making as many mistakes.
I mean, I saw it firsthand, like when I was brought in and I helped out with the last Summit, Summit 2, I did most of the NA coverage there, and it was the same thing. They had like a demon team that was thrown together. They lost like their first two, and then they were never the same team thereafter. And you got to see teams like what was Flipside NA at the time became Leviathan. They made their way all the way through. They had a nice storyline there. Root Gaming had a good run, made their way through, made a name for themselves. Not Today were the team that actually made it to the house, so a lot of people got to learn more about Smash Dota, and it gave opportunities for teams like that. This Summit, it's been like all those pub stacks getting stomped, and they just get taken out immediately. You know, Tinker kind of made it to the next round for the Summit, but then they got taken care of. Demons Group got taken care of and put out. And what was the other one? There was one other group, but, you know, it's just going to show that we should put a little bit more value into some of these Tier 2, Tier 3 teams that have actually been playing together, showing some results, you know, doing their Canada Cups, doing their Dota pits, and kind of making their rounds and their, like, JDL and stuff, and putting it out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if in an era where these bigger tournaments have to go invite only, they start considering those kind of teams and passing over those pub stacks.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate change for building branding. Like, there were some Reddit posts talking about how they were upset that players would jump from team to team to team. And yeah, that is unfortunate, but the good benefit to that is that the unknown players are becoming the new players, essentially. The new players and the new teams that everybody can get behind if they end up continuing to do well. So it's an unfortunate situation, but it's also a good thing. So
it's unfortunate, like this lag. Apparently we got some crabs, Purge. They're clogging up the system. Get them out of there. Watch out. Here comes the big one. Oh, go away. Get on out of here. Skit. Stop lagging up everything.
I had no idea what you're talking about. I was like, damn, he's taking this real far.
No, they have this plug in here. And have you seen these yet?
No.
I love showing these off. So there's all these little things. Look at this. Like, Purge, you're going to touch this button and, whoa, no, get that. Chop, chop, chop. Let's go. Like, I don't know. And then, like, this guy pops in, like, toasty. Little Pudge pops up. You get that big hook, but we never see a Pudge. And then randomly there's a LOL hero here. I don't even know who that is.
It just says LOL hero.
It says LOL hero. I don't know. Zyori knew his name. I've never played the game, so just that guy. That guy popping in. Hey, how's it going?
Get him out of here.
What? Hey, I see your games.
Crabs
Pause.
plural?
So crabs plural is all these little buggers right here. And then you bring out the monster. Hey, hey, I see you're paused. That sucks. Oh well. See you later.
Man, I'm really glad somebody spent time making these.
Yeah, they've been around since I've started this. They're around forever, but we never touch it. I don't know. I have to see the other streams and Starlight streams. I wonder if they actually put this to use. It's clear that, you know, they have all bases covered. They got their knife here for CSGO if they do Counter-Strike, and then I guess if they do, hey, that's my knife. You know, whatever. I don't know. So
they have a lot of space for more buttons, though. Why are they?
I know. If you could add an effect, Purge, let's say.
Man, that brings me back to like middle school when I was using PowerPoint.
Yeah,
for the
if you could add like a bit of production value to one of these streams and just. Like, would it be like the LD face, like, wow, shows up on screen briefly?
Yeah, that'd be good. Get somebody on production to sit there with their finger on the button in case somebody says wow during a cast.
Yeah. That's me with my soundboard usually. Doing it anyways, but
Yeah.
all right. So folks, we're still held up here. This just happens from time to time, but we can look at the schedule earlier today. It would be really unfortunate though if they have to kind of bring down the rule book in a game like this, because it's so close. And of all the people to be DC'd, it's their core Shadow Fiend. It always seems to be the core that just kind of can't get it together.
On the bright side, it's so late in the game that his raises are less important, so you could maybe argue that having somebody micro him wouldn't be the worst, but...
well, they should get some tips from Secret, man. They pulled out that win. They had only 3. They had to micro both their Shadow Fiend, who was Arteezy coming in out, and Puppy, who was on a Chen.
Okay.
Who's gone for the majority of the game.
She was playing Chen and other heroes. Or something.
So it was like Zai and Kuro juggling a Shadow Fiend and a Chen.
Okay.
Which Chen, you can always just, put him on a hotkey, go to him, get the Hand of God out there and stuff. But they weren't just using it like that. They were using the heroes. Like they were getting in and getting involved and almost doing a better job. It felt like sometimes they would come back into the game and buy and go back out. Like Arteezy would come back in, spend some of his 5K that they couldn't spend, and get a BKB for them to use. It was just ridiculous. And if you guys want to know what the hell we were talking about, there's VODs of these matches from yesterday about on our YouTube over at Beyond the Summit, so you can go check them out there. And we'll look at the. We'll look at this.
Saying 3 minutes left.
3 minutes. Oh wow. Okay, so Casper, man, he's dropping that admin hammer.
This could be a really big upset here because again, this is a best of 3, so one game here could swing things heavily.
Yep.
That wouldn't have happened otherwise.
And in this group, when you have Secret in the group, who probably is going to just take the top slot. These other 3 teams will need all the spots they can get, and the other teams are in this group. It's LC, I know, London Conspiracy, Moscow5, and this group, Duza.
So
and
both
Duza and Moscow5, this is their first win. They're trying to get their first win here.
They're guaranteed a win here. Moscow5 has 2 games that they've won in their best of 3s, but they didn't win any of the sets, so a really tough road for them so far.
Let's see if I can bring up stuff here. Nope.
All right, so there's zeros there.
Yeah, that's not right.
Well, I mean, that's not... I mean people can look at the groups.
Everyone look at the groups, all right? I'm going to hit buttons here, and hopefully we can have production value and people can see it while we wait for the couple of minutes here on this pause. So you can see the groups here. So we're looking at top left corner. This is Group A action we've been doing today, yesterday. Duza, LC Secret, and Virtus Pro, which is now Moscow5. So that's the other thing. It's not Virtus Pro, it's Moscow5. Okay. Secret's at the top, 2-0 with London Conspiracy, which that match we're going to be seeing next. So we'll see what team is going to get their first loss. They're both 2-0. Moscow5 and Duza are both 0-2.
Okay, so Duza getting more losses overall, less wins, but they still get counted for the best of 3 wins. And yeah, they want to see who can take a win here. It's basically it's only top 2 that go up, right?
Yep.
And
only top 2 go on.
How many matches do they play for every set? Do you know?
I think it's just a round robin, so they each play each other once.
Okay, so it's not looking good for them.
Yeah, so
it's a really high chance that they just won't make it.
For Duza?
Because they only play 3 games, 3 sets, right? So both Moscow5 and Duza are eliminated. Is that what that means?
I would have.
Are you telling me this game doesn't matter? It's so good,
it should matter. I mean, for Duza, if they need a win, they're happy right now. I mean, they're praying to Dota gods for this DC not to come back.
There also might be some kind of a rule for next start ladder season if you're the 4th. And
that is, yeah, that is. I read that here. If you're in the, now I want to read it. So let's see. It's stage 1. Okay, now I'm going to read it officially for everyone. 16 teams in 4 groups of 4 teams, each played in a round robin format. All matches are played best of 3. The fourth team of each group will fall down to Pro Series Season 12. So you go down to T-ball. Yeah,
more like
minor leagues. Fine.
Coach pitch. Come on. It's a coach pitch. We're not talking T-ball. T-ball's like amateur league.
Okay,
all the way.
Fine. Fair enough.
Like, these guys are not bad at all. It's not T-ball.
No. I'm just saying, like, you go, okay, so major leagues, minor league, you got to go back down a peg and kind of prove your worth there to make it back into the real star ladder.
That's a really tough place to be as well because usually the teams right below the main tournament, in my experience, are kind of thrown together in a lot of ways, and it's more of like a grind in terms of time. You're playing games that you maybe don't want to play against teams that are not as good as you just to get back up into the good area where you could make some money. It's a really tough place to be as a team. Often leads to a lot of disband and issues like that. It's just too hard to stay on a team with people when you're losing too much. It's like having 4 girlfriends and you're always fighting.
If you're Mormon, though, it works, apparently.
That's really? Is that the secret?
Not all Mormon.
I don't know very many Mormon Dota players, so...
That's true, too.
I actually don't know any Mormons either, so... That's probably problem A.
I think that was like the good thing I had going for me is I had a couple of my best friends were Mormon, so all we did was just like play computer games. We didn't get involved with like partying and having ladies. We were just nerds. Then, you know,
that was my life.
That means you do schoolwork and you get out safe. You know, we weren't troublemakers, Purge.
Except for in game, right?
Except for in game. Oh my god, I would flame so hard. I mean, I was like tried and true Dota 1, so I would flame unmercifully. You know, in-house league style.
It was very
back then.
different then, yeah.
Like. I mean, don't even, you're preaching to the choir for very different back then. You were, back in my day, Purge, you were lucky to have 10 players just be in the game.
Yeah,
because you had
true.
to make it through the countdown at the start. You're in the lobby, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You always have those trolls like, ha, see ya, and then leave at the countdown. And you're like, oh, God, now we got to get, people come in, they're like, I don't want to be this color. And they leave, and you're just like waiting.
Yeah.
And then back then, the loading time to get into the game was like 5 minutes. Not like I'm exaggerating. It was a legit like 5 minutes to load into the game. So you were lucky there were 10 players when you got in. You're like, oh, it's 4v4.
Yeah.
It's even. Let's play.
You were like so willing to have a game of Dota that they even put this thing in with swap players where you could transfer allies from your team to the enemy team so you could finish the game. But
couldn't you like get voted over and you didn't even have like really a say if the other players like put you in?
You might be right. It was it involved enemy voting as well. It was like, and I can't believe that we actually thought it was okay at the time. I was like, wait, this guy, my carry just got like 5 kills and I'm playing support or something, and now he's on the enemy team. We're just gonna lose because all of our snowball advantage just teleported to the other team. Because wow, the game was so much better now.
I mean, can you imagine?
That's how desperate we were for a game.
MMR and stats, they're like, yo, just move him over.
Yeah.
He won't have any friends on that team.
We'll take the Ember that's 4-0 right now. That's fine. Man, that's how desperate we were for a Dota game back then. It was tough. And even then, finding a game, it would take like 15 minutes to find a lobby or something like that.
Back then, the standard ping was probably like 140.
Yeah,
you know, because you didn't have your luxurious broadband unless you were a rich brat. No, but you're sitting there and you're trying to make the best out of a good second delay. If that,
yeah, it was at least that.
But that was you. Delay. I mean, you probably were playing with someone with a potato and still had 56K. So they're like, like, okay, well, we got this demon witch over here who doesn't even know how to use his spells. He can't use spells. He's been trying to sheep me for the last 20 minutes. It's not really working here. So
couldn't even tell what skills he had in Dota 1. It was impossible to tell, I think. I think you could see, if you were casting, you could see what people were leveling up, but you couldn't just click on it here and be like, oh, he has so-and-so points.
They also, back then, near the back end at least, I know for competitive games, they would, maybe it was just from a spectator point of view, but they would let you know every skill level up.
Yeah.
Like Earthshaker just put level 2 into Fissure. And it's like, oh... Oh my.
Apparently we're having trouble reconnecting, and Big Num is asking for a go load, which means that we'll leave the lobby possibly and load from a replay. And the replays usually work, but they're usually bugged a little.
We get into like the Bermuda Triangle of Dota at that point, though. That's when like BKBs sometimes can get their 5-10 seconds back. Really? Roche timers disappear.
Yeah.
6th player shows up.
All the creeps that are currently on the map will disappear. And then a push that you're about to have is now destroyed because your creeps have to respawn.
Oh, it gets so
it's
awkward.
Reconnecting or reloading is not necessarily a good thing, but if he's genuinely having trouble connecting, I mean, it's a better, I dare say it's a better solution than the opposite. Let's look at some BKBs and stuff while we're waiting. Then that way we can make sure.
Oh yeah,
we got 6 seconds on Juggernaut. Wind Ranger's at 8 seconds. Bat Rider doesn't have one, and that's
hold on. You're going too fast for me. Everyone else probably wants to verify with you here. Yeah, 8 seconds on the Wind Ranger. Yeah, it's. I think the last couple of times I've had to go through a load because Purge. I've had this problem for quite a while. Like you know, WCA, we had a lot of loads, a lot of down period, a lot of crazy stuff happening there, and you know, at least at those points, I didn't see any problems with the BKBs and stuff. But I mean, Storm Spirit would love to have a 10-second BKB. He's down to 5 seconds on his. So.
It would help a lot. I mean, he's still missing some damage. Definitely load go. God, I don't know what they're saying. They're saying some English words, but
load to stand in. Maybe they feel like they can load and bring in someone to replace it. Can you imagine? What if you were just like, hey, Purge, we lost our 5th. Listen,
hey, man.
you're gonna be a Shadow Fiend. It's
he did the hard part, man. It's 57 minutes.
It's 57 minutes in. The game is surprisingly close. We just want to fight. We're going to be pushing towards their base. Go.
The hard part is getting to the 13, 5, and 10 against a top tier team. At this point, a lot of like 5.5k or 6k players could do just as good as that guy did, but getting to this point is the hard part.
this is where they test the nerves, if you will. Do you believe
That's
in
true.
nerves as a player?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you get in these critical. I mean, that's the thing is and I think I was saying this near the back end of Star Ladder because in that last best of 5, and I think even the last matchup, there were very questionable plays happening at the end. Maybe missed lasso opportunities, missed jump ins, missed relocates, and last minute tethers. But in the heat of the moment like that, and I would imagine on that stage, you can hear, even with those earmuffs, you can hear the audience yelling at you. Shit just goes down, man, and you just can't think right, and you're misclicking, and it happens, and it's easy to be in the Twitch chat or spectating and like, oh, missed that easiest stun, but man, it's not easy, man.
It gets scary as well because everybody starts yelling in the crowd because the caster is looking at something, and then you look around the map, you're like, nobody's getting ganked. Why is everybody
suddenly
screaming
Roche
right now?
Dead.
And then Roche will die or something, or maybe like a gank does actually end up happening. There's some times when we were in Korea where that would happen, where somebody would be like, I'm definitely getting ganked right now, and you're like, well, I don't want to be cheap and just like back because I heard so. Or sometimes they have you have audio issues. It's harder to hear in the booths, or maybe that Skype quality isn't good, or in Korea they played music in the booths that way, but it would like sometimes bleed over our mic. So
what kind of music would they play?
They played StarCraft Brood War
soundtrack, ambient music.
It was
orchestrated.
I don't know. It was like the Terran soundtrack or some. I can like. I know exactly what it sounds like in my head. I don't know how to describe it.
If you hear it, does it like give you flashbacks?
Oh, easily. Yeah, I'll just think about being in the booth. They played the same track every single match forever. So at first I really associated it with winning, but afterwards now it's really associated with losing since, eventually we had a lot of loss problems. But it's okay.
You guys, I guess, got chopped. Whoa! Whoa! Ding, dang, doong. Yeah, I'm trying to make the best of this pause right now, but yeah, good stuff. But, we still waited out. It's probably past the time. I'm sure there's a private Skype conversation in a language that I certainly don't know of them discussing what the game plan is from here. It's just unfortunate because it's at such a critical point in a very important game. I mean, I'm talking about the nerves of these upper echelon teams in the lands. For these tier 2, tier 3 teams that are about to qualify and make it to the next stage, this is the big point for them on being able to get into that spotlight, make a name for themselves, be like the next Leviathan, be the next, Asus Polar or whatever.
Yeah, this could really affect morale if you go down to tier 2 or not. So it has a lot of long-lasting implications. Somebody might want to leave and join some other team that's about to qualify or something like that. So it's pretty significant going down or staying up. They're basically just fighting for the tier 1 of Star Ladder or whatever the heck it's called, the Pro Series, I believe, versus amateur or Pro-Am or something.
A Pro Series, so I mean, I guess when you go there, you're not happy. You go there, you're like, well, no one's going to be watching too many of this game, or it's probably the most popular thing ever. I mean, I'm not too sure exactly. I don't know if there's going to be. It'd be like what? Probably on this side going from. I don't want to do this actually. I'm going down a road where I'm going to be identifying what tournament matters the most. I guess I would say like Dota Pit to ADL, American Dota League. It's not going to be like quite the biggest show on earth, but at least there's still opportunities out there.
Wow, that was a long 3 minutes. Holy shit.
Whoa, well, that's the Russian clock. Though.
Okay.
That's like saying,
it's, whatever I feel like.
It's last call at the bar, and then they're there for another day.
Okay. That's how that works? All right.
I mean, when I was there, it seemed like the party would never stop, so I guess with pauses, they don't stop either. So.
Well, we have a lot of armor on Moscow5. I just noticed they do have AC, but I didn't think about the fact that they both AC and Vlad's. So that's going to help a lot versus Omni/. A play mail, which is what you're getting, is about 60% extra HP if you only take physical damage. So having both Vlads and an AC on your team is massively going to increase your survivability at Omni/, and that's most of their damage, by the way. It's basically Juggernaut with Wind Ranger Focus Fire and a little bit of Magic Burst there, and then Magic coming out of Earthshaker and Lion and Bat. So I really don't know which way this game's going to go. It could easily go both ways. They're saying ready. All right. Well, having 4 players is definitely a disadvantage. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Radiant team here.
But what if they do it? I mean, this is their point right now. Jug is down 30 seconds, no buyback. They are like 10 feet from the front door.
Barrett has got a lasso, though. So especially with less micro, it's going to be even harder to get to teamfight properly. But, I mean, Brewmaster's already got a micro-intensive here. I'm going to assume Dazzle's going to play the Shadow Fiend, since all he's really got to do is ulti, heal, and grave, and maybe force staff somebody, but this is tough to do. Storm as well is pretty high mechanics as a hero, so I don't think he can really take too much. I mean, Clockwork could also focus on something like that. Clockwork doesn't have a huge amount of stuff that he can do after he initiates.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely tough. Casper's saying go.
Casper's like,
he's
guys,
forcing it.
Suck it up and go. We're over here. Curtis the Crab, Sorry, fellas. Good luck in your 4v5. Fools.
Do your best.
Yeah, right. Oh, here they go.
All right, somebody's moving him.
Back underway. I know we felt like we've been in hiatus for quite a while, but it's time to go. We can't wait any longer. Moscow5 have to make the best of it. We're not going to be loading, and they're going to be controlling Shadow Fiend here. So it's hard to tell from our perspective who's going to be taking the reins of them, but they are now moving in. Tier 3 in contention. They're going to pull out the early glyph. Jug's going to be back in 8 seconds, though.
Yeah, Dazzle's definitely playing the SF here. He's not moving. There's actually just going to Panda split. Going in, throws the stun on the Wind Ranger. This is the best thing that a Panda can do is actually just keep them zoned for a very, very long
Cyclone
time.
on bat, too. Jump in from Clockwork, gets a hold of Undershot, keeps him away. Meanwhile, they're making a go onto the base, but they're getting the lasso on the Chami, pulling him away from those racks. Meanwhile, still they're going on to Undershock. Cyclone again, now it's going to connect onto the Earthshaker. Chami in trouble. Shallowgrave keeps him alive. He's able to take down the racks before he goes. Big Echo Slam, now barely alive. There's Shadow Fiend down for the count. Now quickly King R is going to take over his Dazzle again, and they just want to get the hell out. But can they catch anyone on the way? Big Num going to be latched but not connected. TP, see ya.
Wow.
Out the last second. Flame Break was en route, but does not get it done. So when the dust settles, Purge, Tier 3 goes down, and so does the melee racks.
Oh man, they can't even buy back the Shadow Fiend if they want to, and he's got it. I was just about to say that it doesn't matter that that Shadow Fiend DC'd because he's already got 6 items, but he can't buy back. So that's a major limitation that they've got this game.
Do you think that's something that if there's some way if Valve could implement would make things a bit better? That the second that a player disconnects and you're stuck, it shouldn't have to be a situation like this. But believe it or not, the last couple of days I've seen this already like 3 times.
It shouldn't be the case in pubs, but in private lobbies it should, especially competitive games. You should allow that. You should be able to buy with them. You should be able to sell with them. You should be able to do all that stuff.
Obviously, it's something that wouldn't happen on LAN, but nowadays there's big online tournaments, and it just happens, unfortunately. So I'm curious if it's something they do consider for stuff like this, because 30 seconds still, buybacks there, but they can't use it, and it looks like Duza don't even want to try to breach the high ground whatsoever, and we could see a bit of a stall from both sides, maybe waiting a bit for this Roche. We won't really know the secondary timer for at least another minute. Already Clockwork the preemptive scout, and with such long pause, maybe you don't even know at this point when Roche is going to be back.
It's actually really unfortunate at this point that Shadow Fiend doesn't have a Satanic or a BKB here, because he's just getting locked down too much in teamfights, and his HP is really high, but Dazzle only heals you so much, and a Grave isn't going to save you against all of these heroes that have Disable, so we're actually really missing Storm Spirit's DPS now, due to him not having the best game. He only has an Orchid for damage, really, and Bloodstone, I guess, but he really needs another item or two.
Yeah, the Sheep is usually the one to go thereafter. He stopped off and had to get two shoes for 2 feats, I suppose. He's got his Boots of Travel. But we'll have to see how much it's going to be. Oh, Clockwork jumps forward, maybe slow down the wave a bit. Yeah, puts down the cogs to keep them back. Shadow Fiend is back from the dead, and side by side with King R here, who's probably going to be the one to control him. And it's Duza now, slowly working in from this south portion of the M5 base. Only Jug leading out the front. The rest of his team kind of keeping back towards the Roche area, keeping a watchful eye. Let's see what this timer's going to be.
Oh, they did get the racks, by the way. I didn't notice that.
Oh, in the mid lane, they took down the melee racks, so it's a good thing. They'll constantly have that bit of pressure in the mid lane. The timer not good for Duza, as it's going to be a bit of a long one there for Roche, and they're going to have to go back to square one. Jump though, Storm Spirit going to catch up with Bat. Oh God, he has to keep jumping.
A lot of mana.
I can't get a hold of him.
It's so tough against the Yules. He's still got a Hex as well. He really needs a Hex or another damage item to be able to kill Bat. There's just no way. Bat's too farmed here. Yeah. Maybe even a Lincoln's would do it, because then he couldn't get Yulesed or Hexed or something, but...
Yeah, Lincoln's as well.
Is it even worth it to farm the Shadow Fiend at this point? I actually think it'd be better for Shadow Fiend to get the creeps really low and then let Dazzle take the last hits.
I'm sure whoever the player is probably frantically trying to reconnect to this game.
That's a good point. That's all. Maybe they just say stall. But, dude, it's been like 20 minutes. There's no way that... Right
now he's on hold for 5 minutes with his ISP.
Yeah, unless he's like paying his internet bill or something like that.
Yeah. Mom, reset the router. I need to get back on. But well, they'll make the best of it. So little bits of farm, but I agree. Unless you know for certain that he is coming back, which we don't know what's happening inside their Skype/whatever program. It might not be the best to build up the farm, but Hook is going to whiff. They have the
big deal though.
Hook. They scouted out rather with the rocket.
Wind Run has been used. Shackle's actually going to catch on too. This is pretty scary. Can they kill the Brewmaster? Here comes the stun. Barely catching them in time. Echo Slam as well. They got him. Big grab. They sheep up Afterlife. Lockdown factor. Abyssal Blade. Grave's going to keep him alive, but
No, there's going to be no TP, no nothing. He goes down, chop hog, 100 seconds
They kill
out.
SF, no buyback.
Yeah, this is going to be over. If they take him down, they get the last, so they get the pullback, and it looks like Duza are going to get the win in game number 1 after dropping out 3. Clock and Shadow Fiend out 90 seconds. Neither of them will be able to buy back. Yeah, there's a buyback available on your Shadow Fiend, but with him out of the match, they can't use it. So 2 left to defend your Dazzle and Storm Spirit. These racks should be coming down.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate way to go out for Moscow5 in the first game. It is still a best of 3, so it's not completely over for them, but
every win counts, though.
Even with SF buying back, though, I think they still were at a huge disadvantage due to the DC. So the main issue is the disconnect, but the bottom racks is going to fall, and that's going to be the first big advantage that they get.
Yeah, they still have a good minute. Brew will be back in about 30 seconds, and we'll have split ready to go, but by that point, I think the damage will have already been done.
We'll see a Poison Touch on the Wind Ranger that'll stun her a little bit, do some slight damage. Actually, she's got a ton of minus armor here, but Storm gets blown up.
Oof. See you later.
And that's pretty much it, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a GG.
He has a buyback he's just not even going to use.
Okay.
So. Oh, there it is. He does use it now, but by that point,
two-shotted dead. Two-shotted Dazzle. Can he pick up the Wind Ranger? This would be pretty good here. He's not able to use his evasion. He has a BKB. He could have lived there, actually. Didn't opt to pop it, but it doesn't matter. Storm goes down again, and now we've just got Brewmaster who splits up, but Brew Pandas are just going to die so rapidly here this late.
Yeah.
If they kill the Storm Panda, it's a guaranteed kill, and that should be it. That'll be the last hero on Moscow5 dying. They're not even GGing here. They're just frustrated. They wanted to just reconnect, but there's the good game. Unfortunate way, especially after we waited so long, but I mean, they didn't want a chance to reconnect, I guess. And that's pretty fair because the game gets really messed up sometimes. So that's how the game ends. That could have gone both ways if all the players are still in the game, but I do think that it was slightly favored in the Radiant team. Lion finally got Blink. He was going to be moving into more utility items, and I could have seen them definitely winning the game, especially with Wind Ranger finally getting into decent DPS. They were almost entirely reliant on Shadow Fiend for damage there. They still had good disable on the other heroes, but Storm Spirit was just maybe one item too behind from where he should have been for them to be able to win that game. But obviously the main issue is going a player down, so really unfortunate way there for Moscow5 to lose, but it just happens sometimes.
It happens. It shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does, and these are questions we'll never know the answers to, and we'll have to find out, though. And like you said, it's a best of 3, so it's not necessarily over for Moscow5. We'll have to see if Xiaofeng will be making a return for game number 2, if they're going to have to use a stand-in. That makes things still more unfortunate. And this is the Moscow5 group that had to come in late notice to replace Virtus Pro, so they've already were in a bit of a sticky situation, but admirable effort. They put on a good fight. It's a great game. You know, beside all the pauses, we saw some great highlight moments right there, and we'll keep the action happening here. It's Beyond the Summit. Myself, KotlGuy. That's Purge, and we'll be back in just a moment for Modota action. Stick around.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning! Solid as a rock! Cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!